Leche. 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 Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting nippy up the Kraken. We stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, January 12th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Just a fucked up night for me. I swept the board in NBA, which is desperately needed for my confidence. 4-0. Pacers Knicks first quarter under. Pacers Knicks first half under. Suns team total under. And Kings first quarter. But then I just gave a ton of the money back in college basketball. Arkansas lost. Duke, I had minus 8.5. They won by 8. Texas, I had minus 6.5. They won by 4. Texas A&M did cash, but I only took them full game. I didn't take them first half and full game. So gave a ton back in college basketball. That's the worst night of the year for me in college basketball. And then the Kings minus 1. Like, I'm sitting there watching the game thinking, well, I'm cashing both here. 4 goals in the third period, pushed the Kings minus 1, and I lost San Jose. Kings under 6.5, and I'm just fucking snake bitten in NHL right now, and that shit's not going to continue. And we have Mr. Gogster here. But, man, what a start of 2023 for me in NHL. Just infuriating. But Kadesh, my man, coming off a huge card. Kadesh, man, he hit just a monster parlay yesterday. He had a Detroit money line involved in it, a huge four-figure score. Kadesh, great work. Shout out to all you guys. Great to see all of you here. We do have the Cappers Contest show coming up after this at 2 p.m. Eastern, where it's the awards show. We'll be handing out the hardware. I also wouldn't mind taking one last once over the playoff games at the end of the awards ceremony. I haven't talked it all out with Jose, but that's at 2 p.m. Eastern. The cash will be sent out right afterwards. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Mike M, Topset, Wally, Alex Hills, Nunya. What a great group. Rocco Rogers, Sean Pulliam, Billy Friedrich, Clint started the Die Hard MMA podcast. Kadesh, what a night for Kadesh yesterday. Gorgeous. Rem Most, MDR 24, J Dub, Marquise Willis, Justin McElvey, D Jenkins in the house. What up, D Jenkins? Serious business. Alex Hills. It was just saying Kings was tough. First period was nice. So it was just everything was. Oh God. Rocco says we're going to eat tonight in the NHL. I got to get rolling. Slatsy 5-1 last night in NHL. I love seeing that. There's Jay Peasy in the house. Nasty Nate, Lucas Ryan, Topset, Imp 13, Viper, Lee Davis. Great to see all you guys. Spenny Penny Bombs is great. And Mike M says Travis Connecting and Torts Flyers are running hot. They are. Connecting is a beast. There's a Sweaty Butcher, Stimmy OG, ready to get to work. Great to have all you guys here. So we need a big bounce back badly. Okay. Thank you for that, Jose. So I counted like 6 times, and it was always just 34. I guess there's a player missing. But confirm that, because there's certainly only 34 on the website where you're figuring out the exact payments for the survivor pool. All right. Got to turn this shit around ASAP. I've already made 3 bets in NHL. Fuck, man. I finished off 2022 with such confidence. That shit goes away fast, man. Ugh. Walla Dose in the house. MDR. Let's get to work. Bring on your first guest of the evening to handle NHL with us. Get me out of this horrific start to 2023. The right man for the job. Coming to us from Belleville, Ontario. Please welcome Mr. Gogster to the show. Gogster, how are you, my friend?
Oh, Jimmy, thanks for the intro, buddy. I'm doing well. You know, it's been a rough start, but hey, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, right?
Absolutely.
We're down 2-0, 3-0 to start of the year, but we got 12 games, guys, to get after. Tougher card. I got 6 bets I've already locked in on. Might add some additions, so let's get after it, chat cappers. Let's do what we do, baby.
Let's do what we do. Well put, Mr. Gogster. I have a bet on the first game. Let's get right to work. We have a ton of 7 p.m. action this evening. We start with Seattle Kraken, 24-12-4, 14-4-2 on the road. Are you kidding me?
I know.
14-4-2 on the road?
What a better hockey team compared to last year. This team, I was high on them too, Jim. Just a much better hockey team.
Certainly are. At the Boston Bruins, you wanted to be blown away by records 32-4-4.
Yeah.
19-0-3 at home. They've played 22 games at home and haven't lost in regulation.
What?
We're in TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Wow. Martin Jones versus Linus Ullmark. Ullmark 22-1-1. I mean, that's fine. Who are
These are numbers I've never heard of before, Jim, at this point in the season.
I see that. I think of Ken Dryden when I see 22-1-1. That's how far you got to go back for that shit. 1.87 goals against average, 938 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Martin Jones, 19-5-3, but he's got an 894 save percentage. He's just, the win-loss is impressive. Seattle. So I have made a change. Gogster, I'm following your path now with the power play and the penalty killing. I think things have changed so much. So I'm going back 10 games, taking a
sample size there.
A page out of Mr. Gogster's book here. Jason Turgi ready to get to work. Spenny says Kraken playing well right now, but Boston at home just too good. Rocco Rogers on Boston in regulation and the team total over 2.5. Mike M says Kraken won the last 4 as a dog. Bruins are on notice. See, I don't think Bruins are on notice. And I'll just set a quick table here. Seattle 7-2-1 over their past 10, 21.7% power play, 71% penalty killing. Look at Boston, 8-0-2 in their past 10, 25% power play, 91.7% penalty killing. They're just rolling. Let's take a look at the line history here. This opened up with the Kraken at plus 198. They're now plus 196. They got up to plus 207, but it's just pretty much where it started. This total opened up at 6.5 and has dropped to 6. The Bruins aren't playing very high-scoring hockey, so I get it. Kraken coming off their 6th straight win, winning at Buffalo on Tuesday night, 4-3 on the second half of a back-to-back. It was impressive. They won the first 5 games of this 7-game road trip. Boston comes in off their 4th straight win, 7-1 at the Ducks on Sunday night. So they flew over, from out west.
Yeah.
Rocco Rogers says, I see no reason here for Boston not to continue to roll. No look ahead. Guys got the rest. This is the way I see it. I bet the Seattle Kraken first period. This game means so much to the Kraken and so much to this road trip. And they know who's the best team in the league. And they know they're now playing a team that hasn't lost in regulation. And the Bruins, I don't think they care that the Kraken are coming in. I don't think they care about the Kraken's winning streak. I don't think they're worried about the Kraken. I don't think they care. That's how I see it. Now, I don't want to bet against the Bruins full game, but I think this means a ton to the Kraken. And I like the plus 155. And I like them early. I know they're sharp right now. I can't say the same about the Bruins, who are coming back from a Western road trip.
Yep.
And that's how I'm hammering. I'm on Seattle first period plus 155 for a score. Gogster, the floor is yours. Kraken Bruins.
Wow, great breakdown there, Jim. I didn't have anything on this game. I just 2 really good hockey teams. Boston coming back from that long road trip, but you know what? With Seattle first period, that does make some sense to me too here, Jimmy. In the road trip too here, guys, they've scored at least 4 goals in their since January 3rd. Actually, since January 1st, this team hasn't lost, and they've been scoring left, right, and center. But you're going up against Boston here, one of the best defensive teams, best goalie, like Jimmy was listing off all the numbers there. First period on Seattle, definitely. I don't mind that, the plus money. Full game going to be tough, but Seattle, I don't want to. These are 2 really good hockey teams. Boston projected obviously better than what Seattle's done. Even on the puck line, Seattle's been winning, guys. This is a tough cap. I would be looking, honestly, Jimmy, what you said there makes the most amount of sense. It's not on my card, but that's probably a Seattle first period or maybe a plus 0.5. I don't want to kind of, it might be like minus 145, 150. I don't have that number exactly down, but I do think you're right. I think the first period, it's minus 145 I'm seeing. So, but to get the plus money there, Jimmy, Seattle first period, guys, is where I would look. I don't have anything on this game, but should be a tough. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game too. I don't see Seattle, Jim, scoring 4 goals if they win this game. I would expect Boston to win this game, full game, but tough cap here. Tough cap.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I look very much forward to it. I love testing teams coming home off of a Western trip. Maybe this is the wrong team to test. Andrew G says you're going to poke the bear. This is different.
I think this is something, even like to note, like see how like a Seattle's coming off their last game on their road trip, I believe here. They got one more in Chicago actually. So yeah, it's something to note, Jim. Yeah, I like that play. Full game. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I really do. If the number's 6.5, it dropped. You said though, it went down to 6. So sharp money's already hit the under. I would lean to the under and Boston full game, but the Seattle first period at the plus money, Jim, I love it.
We'll see. But I do like the spot quite a bit, and I'm going to attack it. Yes, I did say plus monies. All right, let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, Winnipeg Jets, Buffalo Sabres. Jets 26-14-1, 10-8-1 on the road. Sabres 20-17-2, 9-10-2 at home. KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. The Jets get Nikolai Ehlers back. It's going to be interesting to see how far they can go. Morrissey has been spectacular this year. And I don't know what to make of them fully yet. Look, Hellebuck is back to that 2019 form or close to it, and they're rolling on all cylinders. Sabres 20-17-2, 9-10-2 at home, KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. It's funny. I just look at this squad. I'm like, so what are they missing? As they move forward with Dahlin being such a monster and the young defenseman, and now Tage Thompson taking everything to the next level. And it's goaltending, and it will always be goaltending. And they had him. They had Linus Ullmark. They had him. That's a real problem, and it's not easy to fix. It's not easy to find that goaltender. And Billy Friedrich saying over. Real Deal Prime says, I love Buffalo Sabres. Legs are back. Hellebuck Anderson. Hellebuck 20-10-1, 2.42 goals against average, 9.24 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Slatsy says Helly got lit up last game versus the Wings. He did. Mally Mal, that's just from you got to start next to your name by being a member of Pub Sports. You hit that link on the top of the chat. There's a bunch of perks, and there are more perks coming. We're figuring it all out how to celebrate that. But right now, the main thing is for our giveaways that we only give the cash out to members, but there's more to it than that.
You gotta join the crew, Mally.
Pennybomb saying Jets for me. And Orphis says Seattle's on a 6-game road trip. I believe they are on a 7-game road trip.
Yeah, they got Chicago. I was just looking it up there. They got Chicago, their last game on the 14th here. So it's a long road trip that they've overperformed, to be honest.
Oh, they're playing very well. There he is, Mally Mal, in business.
I love it, Mally Mal. That deserves a hi-ya, Jim.
Hi-ya! There it is. Usually it's not as I can't do it. I have to look at my empty bottles of liquor. It's one of those things that really needs the sauce for it. But let's keep rolling here. Luokkanen is confirmed. Very interesting. I did not know that. Thank you, Slatsy. And Clint saying if the pattern holds, the Sabres should take this. Winnipeg 6-4-0 over the past 10. Power play at 22.2%, penalty killing 83.3%. Buffalo 7-3-0 over the past 10, 26.7%, power play 75.9%, penalty killing. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. It'd be interesting to see. First, I don't enjoy road favorites in Buffalo or in Montreal for that matter, but there's been a slight move towards the Jets. They opened up minus 125. They're now minus 128. From a total perspective, there's been no movement. Opened up at 6.5, juice to the over. That's exactly where it stands right now. The Jets had their 6-game winning streak snapped in the 7-5 loss at Detroit on Tuesday. Buffalo lost their second straight game, 4-3 at home to the Kraken on Tuesday night. So, Fat Wally says, welcome, Allie. Mal, like Jimmy says, Shabam Bam. I love it, Fat Wally. Thank you for that. Take it away here, Gogster. Jets, Sabres.
All right, yeah, with Lukokonen going in net, he's got a lot of wins for them too. For the last 6 games, he's won, but 4 of those 6, Jim, they've gone over 6-5, 5-4, 4-3, 6-3, 3-2, 4-2. So higher scoring game. I still think everyone in the chat here is liking the over, and that's kind of where I'm leaning to as well. Hellebuyck, guys, he's not as good on the road as he is at home. At home, I don't have his home numbers, but I can tell you they're much better than this .907 save percentage on the road with a 3.16 Jim goals against. So he's definitely more volatile on the road than he is at home. And then with Lukokonen going, he's good, but the Jets team with Ehlers back, both of these offenses are humming in my opinion. You got power plays over 20% last 10 games. I'm taking both teams to score here, Jimmy, even with Hellebuyck in net at plus 150. I expect both of them to jump out, especially with that 7-5 loss against Detroit. Winnipeg's pissed. Same with Buffalo here. They're coming off of, 2 losses. Before that, they won 7 of their last 8. The numbers don't really go for me here with the first period splits, home and road. Winnipeg's 9-10 on the road, 7-11-3 at home for Buffalo. But situational, Jim, I think we're going to see some goals here.
What was the number you got on the first period, both teams to score?
Plus 150.
Plus 150. Mally Mal on the road to 100K. Challenge started last night. I like it. Mally Mal, keep us in the loop. We'll be cheering for you heavy. All right. Christopher Commentines is over with Helly in goal. I think that Hellebuyck will bounce back here.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Well, I know I think he'll bounce back. I mean, that's not saying much. He looked bad in the last game, and now they've been on the road together and kind of sitting in the loss. But these are two teams that can put the puck in the net. So I understand why it's juiced to the over 6.5.
Yeah, and Buffalo's coming off those 2 losses, and they just haven't looked that good. And before that, they won 7 of the last 8. I would honestly lean towards it's a tough cap because Winnipeg coming off that 7-5 loss. Both of these teams, I expect them to be in the playoffs. So goals situation, I guess, for me, this is situational one with the losses and Lukokonen and even guys with Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck at home in the playoffs, keep this in mind. He's really good. He's one of the best.
But you think the Sabres are going to make the playoffs?
It comes down to their goaltending, Jim, but I do. I think they're such a streaky hockey team and they can score with the best of them. Kind of like Seattle. Seattle's 24-12, Buffalo 20-17. So I think Buffalo and Seattle are a very similar hockey team.
Plus 320 right now to make the playoffs. They're minus 425 to not make the playoffs. If you think they have a chance of making the playoffs, you should be rewarded if they do. I do not think that they will make the playoffs. I do not expect the Sabres to make the playoffs. And I think their young defensemen will tire down the stretch. They've been played in a ridiculous amount of minutes. But if you like that, if you think they can make the playoffs and get rewarded, it's you're
tough.
right.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up now, Jim. Boston, Toronto, Tampa, and then you got Buffalo. I think they're better than Florida.
But we have the crossover.
I know exactly. Then the crossover, we got Pittsburgh, Capitals, Rangers, Devils, Hurricanes. 8-9 seed. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. If they do get in, it's going to be 7-8 seed at best. So.
Well, let's move on. Both teams to score for Gogster first period at plus 150. Billy Friedrich says Sabres 13-7-1 on the puck line at home this season. Lucas Ryan got Ullmark plus 325 last week to win the Vezina, I'm assuming. He says now his book has him at plus 150. There's our guy Turnsey in the house. He says, I leave for Antigua today. Oh, man. Shit.
Wow. Antigua. Wow.
Yeah. And his son was on the ice last night, all decked out in his new equipment. Turnsey. Yeah. He's Turnsey, you're putting in the work, man. Respect to the family and the life that you've created. You've earned all of this. It's great to see, my man. All right, let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. Carolina Hurricanes 25-9-7, 13-4-6 on the road. At Columbus Blue Jackets 12-26-2, 10-12-1 home. By the way, Turnsey, I was telling the girlfriend, I was like, I need to get out of here. I'm just like. I don't know. So, and I saw the single bets going at Windsor. Windsor's the first casino in Canada to start doing the single bets. So really? we're gonna be down in Windsor within the next 2 months for sure. We're gonna go down for a few days and make some fucking money.
Jim, let me know, buddy. Let me
I
know.
will. I will.
Bell's
Yeah, it's a beautiful. The casino, the Caesars down there is really nice. I dig it. I fucking dig it. All right, let's go. Hurricanes, Blue Jackets, Hurricanes 25-9-7, 13-4-6 on the road. Jackets, as I said, 12-26-2, 10-12-1 at home. Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Freddie Anderson versus Leakins is what I have. Let me know if Corpusalo confirmed. Thank you. Corpusalo confirmed there, says Billy. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Freddie Anderson is probably back. So Freddie Anderson, 5-3-0, 2.72 goals against average, 891. Sabres saying 0 shutouts. We'll have Gogster discussed Corpusalo with his numbers. Carolina 6-3-1 over the past 10. Power play at 22%. Penalty killing 81.6%. Columbus 2-8-0, 17.4% power play, 67.6% penalty killing. They've been decimated by injuries, but all the teams involved in the offseason for the Calgary Flames, the Panthers, and the Blue Jackets are all much worse than they were last year. Carolina comes in off its fourth straight loss, 5-3 at home to the Devils on Tuesday night. They're allowing a ton of goals right now. Jackets coming off their second straight loss, 6-3 at the Lightning on Tuesday. So the Hurricanes win 11 straight, and then they lose 4 straight. They open up at minus 321. I mean, that's a ridiculous number for a team that's lost 4 straight games, regardless of their skill and talent. There's been a 7-cent move towards, off of the minus 321, that down to minus 314. From a totals standpoint, it's opened up at 6. It's now at 6.5. That is absolutely nuts. These two hockey teams, you can look at their goaltending and the issues there and look at how many goals the Hurricanes are allowing because of their weak goaltending. But this was a 5.5 forever between these two teams. And to go up a full goal, I'm not jumping at taking the under, but I'd love to hear your breakdown. So take it away for us. Hurricanes, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, very well put there, Jim. Yeah, with these two teams, you would have saw 5.5 years before. Corpusalo, 0.912 save percentage, 3.10 goals against on the year, plus 3.88, though, goals saved above expected. Bring this stat back, Jim. And then another thing, 35 shots against per 60 minutes. So this guy's definitely used to facing some rubber. Doing all right, too. 0.902 save percentage at home, 3.41 goals against. This team, Jim, they're just so decimated with injuries. 67% penalty kill, too, does not help. Called up, they got Marchenko. This Kirill Marchenko, he's really good. If you guys don't already know, check this guy's goal scorer. He's on the 4th line, though, with Felix Wolensky, who they just called up. Saw this guy play. Little guy, Jim. Real good player. Then Cole Singinger is centering that line. Matthew Oliver on the 3rd line, right wing. It's their first line's great with Liney, Roslovich, and Gaudreau, but other than that, it's not a great hockey team. They lost their last 2 games. Beat Carolina 6-5, so there's revenge factor too here for Carolina. I'm taking what I'm going to do here, guys. I'm taking Carolina in a parlay. Taking Carolina on the 3-way. Shop around. You can get that at about minus 195, 200. I'm going to key that in, Jimmy, with another 3-way bet coming up in the show here. It's going to be a parlay. But I have a hard time not taking Carolina here. And if Anderson goes, I actually had Kochetkov. I didn't know that actually Anderson was going to be starting here. I didn't see anything like that. So if Anderson goes, that's interesting. I would rather actually Kochetkov to go here. But, give me Carolina here. The injuries with Columbus, I have a hard time backing them.
So
really
Hurricanes in regulation as part of a parlay?
Yeah, it's going to be part of a parlay. It's about minus 195 right now.
They played, as you mentioned, and Carolina outshot Columbus 42-18. No goals were scored in the first period. 1 goal was scored in the third period. So it ended up 3-3 and, went to a shootout. That was when Marchenko had the hat trick. With Carolina playing the way they're playing, and if you look back at this game when they played each other, we're talking 40 minutes of just sleepy 1-goal hockey. How could this not be an under? Like, how could Carolina not get their shit together defensively, understand what they've been doing wrong? Brendan Moore's going to be up in their fucking ass about it. And Columbus, their penalty killing is weak. Their power play's been a little bit better.
You're right.
Yes, Columbus dealing with just a ton of injuries. I can understand why Billy Friedrich's on Jackets puck line, but I feel like Yeah, take it away.
Go ahead. You're right, Jim. Yeah, if this is gonna be one of those ones where they're gonna drop they're not gonna be allowing 5-6, 5-5. Like they've been scoring 3 at least. It's just allowing way too many goals against the Rangers and the Devils. Those are two teams that I respect. Columbus, that was a bit of a stinker. They let them win that game, and then 5 against Nashville. You're right though. If they're gonna win this game, it's gonna be a lower scoring 3-1. Maybe they get 4 here. Korpisalo has been a lot better actually than what he's been in the past. So. But again, there's just so many injuries. Even Meyer, they called this guy up. He's out too. Gavrikov, he's out. It's just everyone they call up just keeps getting hurt. I don't know what's going on there. It's rough times in Columbus. Even though they're 2-2 in their last 10 games at home, this just low scoring game. I do agree, Jim. Maybe even a Columbus team total under, despite them allowing those four games with 5 goals allowed. Hockey's very streaky, guys, but I'm on Carolina here to get her done, and the under really does make sense too, Jim. The way we're breaking,
I'm going to move on it. I feel like it just.
It's unless it's 5-2 or something, Carolina. That's the worst thing I think that could happen here. But I don't see a 4-3 or you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Yeah. Lee Davis says Ranta looked like cheeks versus Columbus last week. This is my first edition. I've got 3 bets on the card already. We've discussed the Kraken first period. Gogster's using Hurricanes in regulation as part of his action here, and I am going to move on the under 6.5 here. I mean, all 3 games went over last night again. I don't see how.
What about first period, Jim? Would first, because I know Columbus actually they don't score a lot in the first period. I know that.
No, you're right. You're right. And if I had only taken the first period under in the Kings game, it would have been an easy casher, and it would have been a casher here in the last time these teams met. I just if I feel like I have an advantage in something, like if the Hurricanes are up 2-0 in the first period, I would expect to hit my under at the end of the game, because I know that. So I'm going to not be too cute here and go for the 6.5. There's Dan Bonner in the house. Been too long. Love to see you back in action, Dan Bonner. I love it. I love it, Nunya. Yeah, you get your college basketball ready to go. I love it. Focus on where your ROI is best but respect, Nunya, respect. All right, so let's move on. That's my first edition. So Maple Leafs, Detroit Red Wings next up for us. So Turnsey was like, are our Red Wings to make the playoffs and Red Wings futures garbage? And I said, no, they're not garbage until we see Bertuzzi back in the lineup because he's the missing piece. He's the toughness. He's the swagger. He's the cockiness. He's all that they're missing. Because they bring in Kopp and Perron, and that's great. That does help your team a lot, but you're still missing the truculence that only certain players can provide. And Bertuzzi's one of them, and he's barely played this year. He hasn't played that well when he's been in the lineup, and he comes in, and there's more space on the ice. There's more confidence. When you got a tough guy right there, that you can get away with a little more, and you're going to be protected. And so let's see now. Let's see what the Red Wings do now. They just beat the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets had won 6 straight or something like that going into that game. And I'm backing them here to come into Toronto or to go up against Toronto at home and take care of business. I'm on the Red Wings at plus 120. You have the Maple Leafs on a back-to-back. The Maple Leafs just haven't looked as good. Ron Crawford in the house. Our guy Ron still battling COVID. Please send them all the love and positive energy as possible to our guy Ron Crawford. So that goes up here with the Bruins spot. That was the first game that we spoke about. Bruins in regulation for our guy Ron Crawford, and we need him to get better. So please, it's been a long time. He's been battling this one. So please send him as much love as possible. We love you, Ron, my guy. Christopher Comentini says Samsonov expected. Samsonov will be in. And Matt Murray was awesome last night, and I think Samsonov is a better goalie. Samsonov 12-3-1, 2.29 goals against average, 916 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Ville Husso 13-8-5, 3.03 goals against average, 901 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Toronto 7-2-1 over their past 10, 29.4% power play, 76.7% penalty killing. Detroit 4-5-1, 18.9% power play. Their penalty killing has been atrocious, 66.7. Leafs on the second half of a back-to-back after winning their third straight 2-1 at home versus Nashville last night. And as I said, the win snapped that 3-game losing streak on Tuesday. I don't want Austin Matthews in the lineup. I would prefer that he doesn't play. I don't expect him to play. It is possible, but I just felt like he was taking both these games off because they're not telling us what he's dealing with, but some kind of injury. Slatsy says Leafs 9-1 last 10, Leafs 5-0 in Detroit. Look, that's dangerous. Going up against a trend, and these trends have not been good for me. But the Leafs without Matthews on the second half of a back-to-back, the Red Wings with Tyler Bertuzzi back on the ice, getting a plus line in a spot I believe in, and I'm moving on it. Take it away, Gogster, Leafs, Wings.
I just want to say, Jim, your breakdowns are on fire today. Great breakdown on that game. I had nothing on this one. Matthews and even Brody. That's another guy that's just been out of the lineup as of late. So, what I'm going to be looking towards here, guys, is with Bertuzzi coming back, Jim. That's 100% correct. When this team has Bertuzzi, they can score. Their team total overs start to really hit. And with them on a back-to-back here, Samsonov too. There's another thing going against Toronto is Samsonov at home. Great goalie. On the road, 0.890 save percentage, Jim, with a 3.42 goals against. Smaller sample size, but still not as strong on the road. Toronto's penalty kill too, 76% of late. I expect Detroit. There's also a revenge factor to go on top of this, guys. Toronto won 4-1 on January the 7th at Toronto. So revenge factor, everything. I think it's a back-to-back for Toronto too. Give me Detroit. I didn't have anything on this, but I'm going to take Detroit first period, Jim, plus 110. I think they're going to jump out on this team early. Plus 110, scored 7. That's a key sign right there. They scored 7 against Winnipeg, which is not an easy team to score 7 against, even though Hellebuck's not as good on the road. Jimmy, you broke that down. Yeah, great with Bertuzzi coming back. I'm looking Detroit first period. I'm thinking if I want to double down on it.
Another thing we've talked about Granato playing Dahlin and Power and Samuelson too much. Moritz Seider has not been driven into the ground with ice time, and he's coming off 4 assists, and he's not been very good. Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond have had a bit of a sophomore jinx this year. Yeah. I see the Wings possibly, if Bertuzzi stays healthy, as a team that could be a second half team, could provide us value here.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Because you got Husso, who has definitely shown he can be a top goalie in this league. He's kind of having a bit of a rough start. So, and they've also sent Neto Djokovic, Jim, down to the Grand Rapids. He actually had an assist on a shorthanded goal. So that's where Ned's at. He's almost out of the league. You're right.
But Mike's right. Slatsy's right. Toronto's 9 in a row versus the Wings is the highest NHL trend on the card tonight. Well, the Wings know all about it. So,
and if they don't have Matthews too, it's like they're foaming at the mouth right now, Detroit. I guarantee you that. Coming off 7 goals too. First period, I love. You know what, Jim? I'm gonna double up on this. I didn't have it on my card, but this breakdown where we're talking about it, I'm gonna take Detroit too. This is the spot for them to get her down, in my opinion. Plus 126. One of these books. So I'm gonna take first period Detroit. I'm gonna bet it after the show and full game.
It's just moved to plus 135 at Pinnacle. That makes me nervous. I'll give you the plus 135.
Well, you know what? Even so, if Matthews does go, we know he's a little bit banged up. This all is too much. It feels like a Detroit play. I'm going to put my money on it. So,
I'd like the Wings first period too. Because can I afford to double dip on this? That's the question. Because I can get what's that on the first period now? First period is 105.
I got plus 110 at one book here. I found, Jim.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. If I can God, I got to be able to put my money where my mouth is. It's just it's off to a tough start in 2023. Slatsy says he's off, but he'll be cheering for us come God, I'm interested in the first period. Maybe the first period's a better look than the full game. Okay. We'll move on. Next up for us, Nashville Predators at Montreal Canadiens. Predators 19-14 and 6, 10-8-3 on the road. Habs 16-22-3, 8-11-0 at home or at Bell Center. I have Lankinen. We know it's going to be Montembeault. Allen's, I don't know. I forget what it is wrong with him, if it's sick or something, but he was practicing away from the team today. It's Montembeault confirmed. 6-6-2, 3.42 goals against average, poor, but his .900 save percentage is better than Jake Allen's. Clint says, much like my Coyotes own the Leafs own the Red Wings, 9 straight with 8 covering -1.5. Rocco says, I'd be scared to take Detroit here. Leafs quietly handling everyone.
I don't know. I love you guys. I'm really feeling like Detroit's the player. I could be wrong, but fuck, I've been doing this day in and day out for I'm young, but a long time, and these are ones where we're not forcing it. This is if we'd be forcing it, if anything, we'd be taking Toronto here because of the numbers. But we got so many reasons in the courtroom here, Jimmy, for Detroit. So
God, I hope so. Fucking hope so. Lankinen 4-4-1, 2.81 goals against average, 9.18 save percentage. She's been quite good quietly. Nashville 6-2-2, 24.1% power play, 91.9% penalty killing. Playing good hockey. Montreal 2-7-1, 17.9% power play, 58.3% penalty killing. I mean, that's just atrocious. Nashville on the second half of a back-to-back after the 4-game winning streak was snapped last night in the 2-1 loss to Toronto. Montreal comes in off its 8th loss in 9 games, 4-0 at home to the Kraken on Monday night. I've got nothing for this spot, but let's see what you think here. Let me just give you the line history. Opened up -150. There's been a 24-cent move to the Predators. Wow. And then totals wise, this opened up at 6.5, -113 to the under. It's come back 5 cents. Take it away, Gogster. Floor is yours. Predators, Habs.
Yeah, along with Columbus, guys, Montreal's really banged up. Gallagher, Monahan, Matheson, Goulet. I believe there's some more guys. Let me just bring it up here. Byron, he's been out for a while now. Allen, their goalie. It's tough times right now. They got a couple. Obviously, you guys know Cole Caulfield and Suzuki, Anderson. Who else though do they have really producing? Nashville, on the other hand, they don't have a lot of guys that are household names. Like Parson in here, he's centering the first line with Duchesne and Forsberg. Then you got Cody Glass with Sissons and Jankowski. Niederreiter's on the third line, Jim, with Ryan Johansson and Granlund. So they're really spreading out their lineup here. Tanner Jeannot on the fourth. Expect Nashville to get this one done. I really do think so, Jim. With Montembeault going to, it's tough because I feel like he is much better goalie at home. I don't really have the numbers to back it, but just from what I've been seeing, I know he's better at home here. Coming off all these losses, I'm just expecting Nashville. Let me bring up some numbers here for you guys. Lankinen, 0.925 on the road, 2.56, 91% penalty kill too, Jimmy. That's a big one there for Nashville. Last 10 games, it's going to be tough for Montreal to score here. I think Montembeault is going to have to stand on his head if they want to get this win. But give me Nashville, guys. 3-way, straight up, 3-way plus 106, Jimmy. That was available just before the show when I bet it. So,
all right, Predators. Yeah. Reg, and it was plus 106.
Plus 106. They're completely healthy on the back end too here with Monahan, Yossi, Ekholm, Carrier, Lazan, Fabro. Yeah, I expected this team to be a little bit better than what they performed, even with Saros. I'd be surprised if they didn't win this game. Even though it is a back-to-back, but yeah.
I hear you. And Slatsy says Habs offense has been awful. I'm on the Habs team total under 2.5 at plus 127. Also, PK Subban being honored tonight before the game.
Awful guy.
I do not, but Montreal looks awful right now. There's no getting around it. I still, 8 and 11 at home. I'm still hesitant to fade them at home, but this is a pretty legit price for the Predators. It was a price, in fact, that it opened up at where I was like, well, this doesn't really make sense. That made me want to stay off of it. But then you see the 24-cent move at Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Billy
Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
Oh, just Billy Friedrich saying Habs 2 and 11 last 13, averaging 1.9 goals per game right now.
Yeah, and you're going up against a 91% penalty kill in the last 10 games here. They're on a back-to-back, but they didn't win that game. So, yeah, this is I like the look here, guys, with the Montreal team total under. Nashville before that loss and won, 4, actually even going back farther, 5 of the last 6. So, Nashville here. I feel comfortable with this one, Jim.
All right. Let's we'll move past this one. You got a regulation plus 106 here. Slatsy says go hard for Bedard. It'd be nice to see him in a Habs uniform. It'd be nice, but he is played at my home club. I'd love to see him in a fucking Nucks jersey, but we don't talk about it. 7 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Stars 25, 11 and 6, 13, 7 and 3 on the road at the Rangers, 23, 12 and 7, 10, 7 and 4 at home at Madison Square Garden. New York, Jake Ottinger, 19, 6 and 3, 2.29 goals against average, 923 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Shesterkin, 19, 6 and 6, 2.49 goals against average, 916 save percentage, 1 shutout. God, I just even saying the words, I see the Canucks there. I can feel anger like rising up in me, but let's focus on this one here. Dallas 7-3-0 over their past 10. Power play at 32.3%. Jason Robertson is spectacular.
Yeah.
80% penalty killing. New York Rangers 6-2-2, 22.9% power play, 79.2% penalty killing. Stars coming off their second straight win, 2-1 in a shootout at the Islanders on Tuesday night. Rangers coming off their fourth win in 5 games, 4-3 in a shootout at home versus Minnesota on Tuesday night. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have the Stars opening up at plus 108. They're now plus 110. It's hard for me to see the Rangers at this price.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they're just 10, 7 and 4 at home. And so I guess if you look at the home road splits, the Stars have been better on the road than the Rangers have been at home. But this doesn't make sense to me. The Rangers at home we have high hopes and expectations for this hockey team, and they should get rolling and they should be tough to beat. And this should be an opportunity for them to do that. Stars in New York now, sitting in New York for a couple nights. I mean, hard to imagine they don't go out on the town. How never in my wildest dreams would I imagine that the Rangers would be at minus 120 at home against any team from out west, including the Avalanche. I mean, I guess the top teams you could understand, and Dallas is a top team. It just, it just feels like, how do you not take the Rangers at this price? Take it away, Gogster.
Yeah, it's a tough cap here. I believe I had it written down. Yeah, both of these teams have won 6 of their last 8. 4 of the 5 gone to the under with Dallas. 4 of the 5 gone to the over, though, for the Rangers. Won 6 of the last 7 games. Rangers at home as well. Let me just bring it up here really quick. There was just some Isaiah B. there was asking about some golf, so I just wrote down some 3-way golf for him. But Dallas here, I don't have anything on this game. I want to take the unders, Jim, but the unders have bit me in the ass lately, especially on the show on Tuesday. So I lean to the under here. Goaltending wise, Ottinger's been really good on the road. 0.941 save percentage, 1.92 goals against. That's got to be why this number is so low, Jim. You got I'd say he's the number 1 goalie on the road, at least top 3 in the league. So Dallas has that going for them, along with 32% power play last 10 games. It's been humming all year. But excuse me, Rope Hintz, I have him day to day. So see if there's an update on him, because if they don't have him, that does not help Dallas's offense. It hurts them. So and then Guthrie there, Julian Guthrie there. He's going to be out there. He's day to day. So, and then also Chris Kreider, though. Chris Kreider will not play against the Stars. So there's another big piece for the Rangers that's out. So, God, I want to take this might be the no goal first 9, triple up spot. I'm not going to do it, guys, but I would lean to, the number was 5.5 too, I believe, in this game. It was pretty low. So I lean to unders here, Jim. I really do.
The Rangers have to be able to win these games.
Yeah, it's gonna be a test too. It'll be if they can beat Ottinger, make him look pretty bad here. I would be surprised. And then you're missing Kreider. See who's kind of filled in that spot. Trocheck, Panarin, Krasnodar, Jimmy Vesey. Yeah,
they put Lafreniere and Kako up on that first line with Zibanejad.
They're giving Lafreniere the first line. Wow, that's really surprising, Jim. That's really surprising. Because they had nothing good to say, but I know he was a scratcher. He was benched a couple games ago. He was called for a diving call. If you saw, guys, he got someone gave him a little tap. He got called for tripping, but Lafreniere got called for embellishment. Whenever you see someone get called for embellishment, that's the worst penalty you can get in hockey. So, and he's on the first line with Zibanejad. I know it's kind of a weird cap there, but I just don't think he's good enough, to be honest, to be on the first line. So, you know what? I'm going to take no goal in the first 9 minutes here. I'm going to check the line, Jim, but I'm taking no goal first 9. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Billy asking about the Rangers salary. Rangers are in a pretty good spot. They got $2.468 million available right now. They're in a pretty good spot. They're going to be buyers at the deadline. A lot of people think it'll be Patrick Kane that will be on the line with Panarin. And Ron Crawford says Stars it is. I'm still leaning towards the Rangers. Slatsy says Stars 4-1 last 5 in New York. I look at the Dallas lineup without Rupi Hintz, and I see a vulnerable lineup. You put Seguin on that line with Pavelski and Robertson. It's just simply not as good. You put Wyatt Johnston now on the second line with Marchment and Jamie Benn. I like Marchment and Benn on the wings. Faksa, Gurianov. Gurianov's just been a no-show, for 2 years now.
Doesn't it feel like an under? Because I say the same with the Rangers, Jim, with Lafreniere. I don't think that's hurts their offense with him on the first line there on the left wing. So, and also with the Rangers guys, they've won 6 of the last 7 home games. So, all in all, sidewise, I think this is really tough. Maybe take the plus money with Dallas, but I feel more comfortable with the under. No goal first 9 minutes, Jim, is minus 110. So I'm gonna take that minus 110. No goal first 9 minutes. Dallas, New York.
No goal first 9. And you said that was minus 110?
Minus 110. I really hope there's not a goal early because I could see this. Maybe there's one early, and then literally it's like a 2-1, kind of similar to the last game Dallas had. It was 2-1. I believe that was against the Islanders. But yeah, just with the lineups, missing 2 pretty key guys, especially with Kreider. He's for sure out. Hintz is not confirmed, but doesn't look like he's going. So really good goaltending too. Shesterkin and Ottinger. Yeah, it feels like an under.
Yeah, Lamont Williams max betting Lightning team total over 3.5. I get that. Parlays, Tampa Bay money line, Vegas money line. Yes, Slatsy, I remember it well. Every time I see Guryanov's name, I remember that guy telling me that. There's Sky Dragon in the house. Well, we got to speed this up a bit, and it's my fault. I just
risk pace.
I think the Rangers should be bet at this price. I know Slatsy's saying the Stars have won 4 or 5 in New York. I think I'm going to move on the Rangers. And then, at this point here with the Rangers sitting at minus 125, I'll take them on the minus 1 line for a score. All right, let's move on to the Canucks 17-20-3, 9-10-2 on the road at Tampa Bay Lightning, 25-13-1, 16-4-1 at home, Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. It's just unbelievable that you could have a group of forwards like the Canucks have and not be able to have a winning team around them. The defense is so atrocious. Spencer Martin is so bad.
I know.
Thatcher Demko is skating, and hopefully when he comes back healthy, he'll be the goaltender that we remember. But Spencer Martin with an .880 save percentage. And now Kuzmenko, everybody's trying to pick up Kuzmenko now because we're paying him a little over $900K a year. So that makes him so invaluable. Like Ben Hagel. Why was he so invaluable? Because you're paying him that money. I hope they don't move him here. Mike M wants a pick. I get no joy out of this hockey team. Just pain. Just enormous pain is what happens when I think about this fucking hockey team. I can't even put that picture up and get any joy out of Margaret Thatcher Demko. I get no joy at all. It just fucking hurts. It hurts watching this team play. They've opened up this 5-game road trip with a 7-4 loss at Winnipeg on Sunday and a 5-4 loss at Pittsburgh on Tuesday. They were up 3-0 7 minutes in. Anytime the Canucks have a lead like this, you must fade them. You just have to fade this hockey team. They're going to go 0-5 on this road trip. And then what happens? You fire Boudreau. So they have Tampa, Florida, and Carolina on deck. I mean, this is a tough road trip. Lightning snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 6-3 win at home over the Blue Jackets on Tuesday night. Of course, I was looking at the over 6.5 and went from minus 125 to minus 130. The Canucks can't play that way. It's just like the Canucks, if they play, Billy Ferrier says Tampa's won 8 in a row. It's just, it makes me want to stop the show, smash my computer and walk away. That's what it does. I'm not joking. It's just so sickening being a Vancouver Canucks fan, with just you have Aquilini, this just fucking richest dude in the world, just making decisions for the franchise that are putting us back. We have just the worst management, the worst drafting, and
Sounds like my Broncos of the past.
I mean, fuck, Matthew Tkachuk sitting there for us, and we pick Ole Uolevi. I just can't do it anymore. Jake Valent says, "Aren't the Nucks due for a good performance?" Well, you're not from Vancouver. If you have any hope whatsoever, it's being beaten out of all of us. Yeah, Lightning are the spot, but I mean they're big favorites here. Like I don't. Oh fuck! Just
I'll tell you where I'm looking here, Jim. Can I take her?
Yeah, take it away.
All right, I'll take the wheel here, guys. Vancouver, Tampa Bay. What does Vancouver do? They score. They allow a lot of goals. Tampa Bay shouldn't have any problems here. Vancouver, they're going to score in the first period. What's Tampa going to do? They're going to score in the first period too. Plus 140 is my look in this game. First period on the road here too. 14-3-4 to the over. Vancouver. I'll say that again. 14-3-4. So, and you got Tampa Bay here. That what's their power play? 31%. So Vancouver takes any penalties. Spencer Martin's going to be in for at least one goal on the power play, on the penalty kill. It's Vancouver, Jim. I don't know. It just shows how good Demko was those past years, because the defense hasn't changed too much. They brought in Ethan Bear as in the lineup, brought in Dermott there, but it's just they really need Demko back. Offensively, they're pretty healthy, right? Like their offense is pretty much intact. So I think there's going to be goals here. We're getting a nice plus 140, guys, on the both teams to score in the first period, and 14. What was that? 14. What did I have? 3-4 to the first period over. 10-9-2 for Tampa Bay at home. Even though it's Vasilevsky, I'm going to take both teams to score here, Jim.
Slatsy's on Lightning regulation team total over 3.5. Clint saying Lightning are 4-1 last 5 versus Canucks, and Canucks only scored more than 2 goals in their 1 win. Lightning have covered the puck line in 3 of the 4. And we have a look for PGA from our Dan Kelly. Sanjay M, top 20. Hoagie, top 40. That is a parlay at plus 152. Nagajima, top 40. And Higgs, top 40 is a parlay at plus 1225.
Love it, Danny. Love it. Yeah, I'm on Hoagie too. This guy was a TCU guy, Jim. He went to the game. I don't think he stayed, so he probably left at halftime. So hopefully he plays better than TCU.
Tron Hopkins loving the over here.
Yeah, this is with Martin and net. I was saying earlier in some shows, Jim, this is the goaltending until they get Demko back. It's some of the worst goaltending in the league with Martin and Dahlia. So in Tampa Bay, they should do what they want. Only thing you hope is they don't overlook this, because they know they should have no problems here with Vancouver and their goaltending on defense too. So both teams to score first period. And I like your guys' look with the over 3.5 on Tampa Bay too.
And then just atrocious. I got to do whatever I can not to watch that fucking hockey game. Okay, let's move on here. And I get it. I'm just a mess when it comes to this hockey team right now. But Gogster, first period, both teams score at plus 140. We move on. What up, Elliot V in the house? 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Minnesota Wild 22-14-4, 10-6-3 on the road at New York Islanders. 22-17-3, 12-6-1 at home. UBS Arena in Elmont, New York. Marc-Andre Fleury 13-8-3, 2.93 goals against average, 902 save percentage, 1 shutout. He left the team. He's been very angry about his play. He left the team, and I expect him to play sharper. I expect him to step up now. And obviously that's a vividness bias I have of trusting Marc-Andre Fleury. He's not been good this year. Sorokin 14-13-2, 2.30 goals against average, 925 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Minnesota, Gustafsson in net for a Wild. Interesting.
Gussie. Okay,
interesting. Sorokin 14-13-2, 2.30 goals against average and 925 save percentage. So New York Islanders have an 11.5% power play over their past 10 games. I mean, they're just not going to win hockey games with that. Wild coming off their third straight loss, 4-3 at the Rangers in a shootout on Tuesday night. Islanders coming off their third straight loss, 2-1 at home to Dallas Tuesday in a shootout as well. I get why. My first thought, obviously, with these two teams is the under, but it's at 5.5, and I don't know. Take it away here for us, Gogster. Wild Islanders.
Yeah, thanks for the confirmation there, guys, with Gussie and net. He's just bringing up his numbers here. He's been pretty good, actually. Save percentage above 900. One game he wasn't. That was against San Jose, but played well against St. Louis. Only allowed one against Tampa Bay, one against Winnipeg, which is very impressive, two against Ottawa. It's good to see Gustafsson, Jim, because I didn't think I thought we had the better trade here in Ottawa when they got Talbot for Gustafsson, but looks like Gussie's been the better deal for Minnesota. In this game, Minnesota's completely healthy. They've lost their last 3 games. I want to take both these teams actually lost their last 3 games, 4-1-1 to the under. New York Islanders just aren't scoring. Some injuries too. I want to take Minnesota. I don't think I'm going to do it. I got a question mark beside it. I don't know if I have enough to take it. The goaltending, Sorokin, Jim, 18.41 goals saved above expected compared to minus. Well, actually, that's Fleury. So Gustafsson would be better than that minus 1.9. Power plays are just not humming right now. I would expect a lower scoring game. You know what? I don't got to take every game, right? So I'm going to at least stay off this one. I also have a lean to the no goal first 9 minutes. Jimmy, in this game, it was plus 100, or sorry, minus 110. Yeah, I got nothing on this one, brother. I would lean towards Minnesota. They're the healthier hockey team. I mean, they've been playing good with Gussie. So,
and this has moved to 6 at Pinnacle.
Moved up.
For those of you thinking about moving on the under, that's a very important piece of information, and all the books will probably show 6s then here shortly. So it's moved to 6 at Pinnacle. I can understand backing the Islanders at this price, but Pelech is out, so Dobson's going to have to play a bigger role, which he can do. The Islanders are just not scoring, and I find it very difficult to back them here. But if I was just firing shots, I would take the Islanders at home. They're 12-6-1 at home. The Wild are 10-6-3 on the road. I think you're getting a decent price here. But I don't know if I can trust the Islanders right now.
I can't. I don't know if I can. I'm just looking at their defense. Parker Wotherspoon, he's a guy that just got called up. Sebastian Aho, the defenseman. Scott Mayfield. Then they got Dobson. Their defense isn't as strong as it has been in the past. And without Pelech, that's one of their key guys on the back end here. I lean towards Minnesota here. It should be a low scoring game though, Jim. I really think so. I'm not going to play it though.
I could take the Islanders here. I really could. I mean, they had a bad road trip. They got 4 days off, and then they lose in a shootout to Dallas, who's a tough club. A diehard MMA podcast at Anders Lee Baby scored 6 versus the Wild. Didn't score last time they played. Tonight he's getting back on track.
Good angle. What's up, Clint?
Mally Mal, if over was your first thought, then I would get that 5.5 at minus 120. It's at my book as well. It's not going to stay there. Nice work, Banana Boat Float. You know what? I want to take the Islanders here. I feel like situationally they've been back now after that road trip. God damn. I might move on the Islanders. Fuck.
You think, eh?
I do. I just, they have that road trip. They have the last 2 games versus Calgary and Edmonton that go poorly. They did beat the Canucks 6-2 before that. Then they have 4 days off before losing to the Stars in a shootout. I don't know. I'll have to think about it longer. It just feels like situationally that might be better. And then the Wild having 2 nights in New York.
Yeah, I'm expecting Minnesota to have a better performance. Like they lost 5-4 to the Rangers there, 3-0 to St. Louis. I expect a better defensive performance here from Minnesota. And you got a team that's not scoring on the power play too. So, God, the no goal early makes sense. I love taking that bet. Yeah. That's what I'm leaning towards at least here, guys.
All right, I can't. All right, a sports bet says he's going to fade the Wild. Okay, let's move on, and we got to speed this up a little bit because we got NBA and then NCAA basketball next. We're coming off sweeping the board in NBA. 8 p.m. Eastern, Calgary Flames 19, 14-9, 7-7 on the road. Jesus. St. Louis Blues 21-18-3, 8-8-2 at home at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. I have Markstrom versus Binnington, 2 veteran goalies underperforming this year. Then Calgary 5-2-3 over their past 5, but 16.7% power play, 85.2% penalty killing. They just don't look right. St. Louis 5-3-2, 30% power play, 81.5% penalty killing. It's impressive that they're doing that with the injuries. No Ryan O'Reilly.
Yep.
So that he's not been very good this year. But if you think about him in the face-off circle, you know that he's a big piece of the puzzle. And if you look at their power play, there's no Torrey Krug as well. So but these two teams just met here on Tuesday night. The Flames suffered their second straight loss, 4-3 in overtime. It was the Blues' second straight win. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Calgary opening up at minus 159. They're now at minus 171. I mean, that's just nuts to think Calgary would be that big of a favorite on the road. This total opened up at 6.5 and has dropped to 6. Billy, you're saying same with Tarasenko. You're absolutely right. And then a lot of people will want Tarasenko at the trade line. Take it away here. Gogster, Flames, Blues.
Well, yeah, the reason the production is coming from Cairo, Bochnevich, Thomas, who else here, and Saad. Those are the guys that are really stepping up for St. Louis. Looking at Calgary here, guys, I had written down, I'm kind of getting cold feet on it now. But let's see what Calgary's done here. Elias Lindholm, 7 goals. Toffoli's got 7. Kadri's got 8. This is since December. But other than that, everyone's middling here. Just Huberdeau's 4, Dubé's 4, Backlund 4, Mangiapane. I'm expecting a bounce back here. Short and sweet, guys. You know what? I'm going to stick with it too. Bounce back here spot for Calgary. You got to be able to take advantage of this team. You just lost 4-3. To St. Louis. They're 8-2 to the over to St. Louis. So defensively, they're missing Bertuzzi as well. Leddy's day-to-day too now. We're talking about Krug's out. But this just has to be a Calgary spot. They're completely healthy too for the most part. The line's a little bit out of sorts. I didn't actually have them on Tuesday. I had both teams to score, I think, in the first period, but I like the over on Tuesday. I still kind of like the over here. But I'm going to take, guys, Calgary minus 105, Jim. 3-way regulation. I don't even see this going to overtime. I think Calgary probably over 3.5 goals, too. I think Calgary get her done here.
I just can't take them at this price. I agree they're a better hockey team than St. Louis, but I just can't take them at this price. And I understand the look after losing, in overtime, but I can't do it.
Yeah. It reminds me, this happens a lot in the AHL. They'll have teams will be playing like a back-to-back, same barn. And half the time, like one team will win the next one. And then it's all right, guys, let's not leave here losing 2. Let's, better foot for even first period, but they're such a favorite. I don't want to take the minus 0.5 on the Flames, but expect just a better performance. They're completely healthy too. Tarasenko, Riley, I'm still going to, they do have guys producing. Well, mainly it's just their top 4. The guys called up from Springfield, Jim, they're just kind of slot guys that are just filling in, just not taking penalties, I guess, just not playing stupid hockey. But give me the Calgary regulation minus 105.
You got it. Move on, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Lee Davis looking at the under there. It has moved from 6.5 to 6 at some books. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Avalanche 20-16-3, 11-8-0 on the road at Chicago Blackhawks 10-25-4, 7-14-2 at home at United Center, Chicago, Illinois. Alexander Gorgiev 16-11-3, 2.75 goals against, average 9.15% 2 shutouts. He's been good. Mrazek is listed. I don't know if he goes.
He's going. Yeah, he's going. I thought it's confirmed. I'm pretty sure it's confirmed, Jim.
He's atrocious. 878 save percentage. Colorado 4-5-1 over their past 10, but it's worse than that. They've lost 6 of their last 7.
Yeah.
If they've lost 6 of their last 7, how could they be 4-5-1 over their past 10? Okay, I'll figure that shit out. Blackhawks coming off their second straight win, 4-3 in overtime at home over the Flames on Sunday night. There's Rez Mob in the house. Great to see you, Rez. Let's take a look at the line history here. Colorado opening up minus 314. They're now minus 320. This got up to minus 338. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 6. It got up to 6.5 for a minute, back at 6, and it's at 6 at a pick 'em. And let's just I guess there's not, I was going to pull up the Avalanche's injury report because it is still an issue. Chicago's actually won 2 straight games. I don't know how they beat the Flames in overtime on Sunday night and haven't played since. So they're fresh. And I don't want anything to do with this hockey game. I guess if you were looking at a total, because it's sitting at 6, it could go over to 6.5 because the Avalanche have McKinnon back, and they should be able to start that run of unders was without him. But take it away here for us, Gogster. Avalanche Blackhawks.
Yeah, Avalanche Blackhawks. Just one thing with St. Louis, it's not Binghamton. Grice is confirmed. I'm still fine with that. Looking at this game, though, Colorado, Chicago, Mrazek confirmed. He's just been as ass cheeks, Jim. .847 save percentage at home, 5.16 goals against. Yeah, I don't know how this guy's getting the start, but they don't have much. They tried it with what was his name? Not Lankinen, but the goalie slipping my mind there. He's probably sent back, but going with Mrazek here, I have to take Colorado. Jim Gorgiev's in net, much better goalie here, goaltending advantage. Malgin's out, Mason and Byram. There was a lot worse, this injury report a couple weeks ago, guys. Nichushkin's day-to-day. But then you don't have Kane. Kane's out for Chicago. There's a big piece right there.
He could be back tonight.
Oh, is he back?
Well, we don't know. But, there's been the break, and now they're at home.
Yeah. That would definitely help. Thank you, Jim. That would help. Tenorti, Kari, and Whistle. Tenorti too, Jim. That defenseman, he's a big leader on that back end for them. 2 of 2 they've won, but before that they lost their last 5 here. Give me Colorado, guys, and that money line, or sorry, 3-way parlay I had with Carolina, Jimmy. It's going to be tagged in here with Colorado 3-way, also at about -200. So that's going to equal a +131. So we just can't have overtime in Colorado, Carolina, and we should cash this ticket. I see Carolina taking advantage of Columbus here, and Colorado doing the same to Chicago. So
and surprising, Kane didn't practice yesterday. I thought because I knew he didn't practice Tuesday. I was like, well, he's going to come back Wednesday, isn't he? So maybe he's not. I guess he's not going to be in the lineup. So I guess you're in a good spot here. So let's give you that Carolina. So Hurricanes in regulation and
Avalanche.
Avalanche in regulation. And what does that pay out?
+131.
+131. You are locked in there. Rez Mob says that he invented something that Mr. Gogster would like. He's the caddy from Shinnecock Hills.
Who's that?
I don't know.
But where are we here? Where are we? Jimmy, I invented something. Mr. Gogster would like coming soon. Tell Gogster I'm a caddy from Shinnecock Hills. Oh, okay. That's for real, Rez Mob? Holy shit. Yeah, that's a really nice golf course. PGA events have been held there. So, wow. You're doing well, Jim, if you got a professional caddy carrying your clubs. Let me just say that.
Well, let's roll on here to the next spot on the board because I moved on it already. Ottawa Senators 18-19-3, 7-9-2 on the road at the Coyotes, 13-22-5, 7-5-2 on at home. Neil Mystic, what's happening? Great to have you here. My guy, Cam Talbot, going up against Carol Vomelka. Talbot, 10-11-1, 2.90 goals against average, 906 save percentage, 1 shutout. He's been good at times. He got lit up, torched a couple nights, 4 or 5 nights ago. Ottawa's coming off its second straight loss, 3-0 at home to the Predators on Monday night. Coyotes coming off their 6th straight loss, 4-2 at home versus the Sharks on Tuesday night. The Arizona penalty killing over the last 10 games is at 59.3%. Wow. Ottawa's penalty killing is at 96.3%. Their power play is at 21.2%. Norris is about to be back. Josh Norris is going to be back very soon, and this team is going to go on a run. Yep. I've got Ottawa -1 here. I'm with Clint. He's saying, I think Carroll's exhausted. He's incredible, but he's the only goalie in Arizona. I think he's getting overworked. I agree. I'm on Ottawa -1. I got that at even money at +100, and that's exactly where it is right now. It has not moved. And Rez is a 2-time U.S. Open caddy.
Oh, my God. Holy shit. I'm speechless after that. That's just, wow. Like I said, I've never even had someone carry my clubs, Jim. I'm just, your day-to-day golfer, shoot maybe 82, 83, on a good day, 78. But, that's awesome, Rez. Love to one day meet up at Shinnecock. But, that's awesome.
Let's stay focused here. I moved on the Senators -1 and even money. What are you doing here, Senators, Coyotes?
Well, this is my team, Jim. Love Ottawa. Norris, I just saw you fully participating in practices, so you're 100% right. Once they get this guy back, look out for Ottawa. Vejmelka, he's .911, 3.03 goals against. Like you said, with the penalty killing, it's just bad for Arizona here. I would be looking at what's the best number. I'm trying to see what the best number on Ottawa is. I would be leaning towards a regulation in Ottawa as well. But what I wrote down here, because this Arizona team is getting healthier. They're slowly getting healthier. Jade, they are pretty much actually, Jim. Just Michelli, Ladd's been out for a while, and then O'Brien's been day-to-day for goddamn 4 weeks. So give me both teams to score here in the first period. It's going to be at +155. I do think Ottawa get it done as the game goes on, but this is a small little 4,600 arena. It's going to be like Ottawa's playing in Belleville. That's the same thing we hold. And I really feel like this game is going to be a goal fest, Jim. A smaller barn. This is a weird angle, but I know like Batherson and all those guys, they scored, so like it's a smaller barn, but they used to just flourish. Like it's against AHL teams too, but weird angle I'm going off here on, but I think there's going to be goals here. Goaltending's it's okay with Talbot, but it's not the greatest. And Arizona's actually a half decent home team. Give me and they haven't scored. The last 4 games have gone under 2.5 goals for Arizona. I expect that to change. I think it can happen here, Jim. So give me both teams to score first period plus 155.
You are on and in. I'm on Ottawa -1 plus 100. Final game on the board before we get into NBA. Florida Panthers 19-19-4, 9-13-1 on the road at Vegas Golden Knights, 27-13-2, 12-10-0 at home. We're at T-Mobile. Bobrovsky versus Logan Thompson. Bobrovsky's not been good. 3.29 goals against average, 894 save percentage. Thompson 18-10-1, 2.66 goals against average, 914 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Florida 4-6 over their past 10. But their power play is starting to heat up. 30.3% power play over the past 10 games. 68.4% penalty killing, which is the problem. Vegas sitting here 5-4-1, 26.9% power play, 92.9% penalty killing. Florida comes in off its third win in 4 games, 5-4 at Colorado on Tuesday. Vegas had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 5-1 loss at home versus the Kings on Saturday night. Vegas still dealing with injuries on the defensive front. We'll take a look at the line history here for this one. This one opened up with Florida at plus 114. There's been a 14-cent move towards Florida. They're now even money here. So Vegas opening up at minus 129 down to minus 111. Totals wise, this opened up at 6.5, juice to the over. I like the under. It's just that Florida's penalty killing is going to keep me off of it, because I know that Vegas can score on the power play. They need to be on the power play. And if I can't trust both teams penalty killing, I don't want to be on the under. Slatsy says over 4-0 last 4 in Vegas, 4-0 last 4 versus Florida. Take it away here, Gogster. Final game on the board before we get into NBA, Panthers, Golden Knights.
All right, last one on the board here. Yeah, I don't have anything on this game straight up, guys. Tough cap I have written down here. Very up and down team, both of these teams, actually. They've won their last 3 of 4, but it's a really hard cap. There's injuries on Vegas too. Weber's been out, obviously. Noel Patrick, Howden, White Cloud's still out. Mirmanov, he's not expected to play. I have here Shea Theodore, he's out, and then Dorovev. He's some tough names on this team. He's out, and then Spencer Knight looks like he's also out. So they're going to have to rely on Bobrovsky. Once they get Duclair back, I think this team, kind of like Norris, Jim, I think Duclair is definitely is going to help this Florida team. So he's considered week to week. So once they get him back, I like Florida maybe be a little more of a bet on team. And I'm pretty sure he's on the penalty kill too, Anthony Duclair. So that'll help that case. In this game, though, guys, it can go either way. I got nothing. I love to hear what you guys got to say in the chat, because to be honest, Jim, I don't want anything. With 12 games on the card, I can just kind of let this one go. If I had a gun to the head, the old gun to the head, I would take Florida.
Satsi says Florida coming off a huge win versus Avs might be a letdown spot. If you faded the Golden Knights in every home game, you'd be rich. They're 12-10-0.
Bucks are raking in money then, though.
All right, let's review all NHL action. Ron Crawford gave us the NHL spreadsheet play of the day. That's Bruins in regulation. I'm on the Kraken first period at plus 155. Gogster's on first period, both teams to score in Jets, Sabres at plus 150. Hurricanes regulation, Avalanche regulation parlay for Gogster, and that is at plus 131. I'm adding the under 6.5 to my card. Then we have the Leafs, Red Wings. Leafs have beat the Red Wings 9 straight times. And I'm already on the Red Wings full game. Market's sort of moving against me. I'm thinking of adding the first period, but god damn, it's going to be a sweaty start to that game if I do that.
Talk me into that, Jim, and I like it. I'm on double up.
You have doubled up. First period plus 110, full game plus 135 for you. Gogster, you're in the Predators in regulation at Montreal. Lamont Williams max bet is Tampa Bay solo over 3.5, and his max bet parlay is Tampa Bay money line with Vegas money line. The Rangers and the Islanders, I think I'm going to add Gogster's on no goal first 9 minutes in that Stars-Rangers game. He's on first period, both teams to score, in Canucks, Lightning. And I guess the Islanders had. Gogster's on the Flames in regulation, Flames, Blues. We stayed off Avalanche, Blackhawks. I'm on Ottawa -1. I guess that's my favorite look on the board, I guess.
You know what? And that's one I wanted. The more I was thinking about it, Jimmy, I do think Ottawa will get it done, but they're just, I don't know. I think the goals is the best look there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Ottawa do win this game, like 5-2, 5-3.
I think the Avalanche are, they played over their head for so long, and it's wearing on them. And I think they're going to be vulnerable here. I mean, we saw the Flyers lose 19 of 23 games before they kind of got back. I think the Coyotes right now are in a similar spot as the Flyers were with their losing. Panthers, Golden Knights, we stayed off. Shout out to all you guys helping us with NHL here. Billy Friedrich got his action here. Going to copy and paste that. Thank you for the kind words. Slatsy, going to copy Billy's action here. Gogster, excellent work. Good luck in PGA.
Thanks, buddy.
Action, my friend. Follow Gogster on Twitter at EGO47_. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Yeah, everyone in the chat, thank you so much for bringing all your insights. We appreciate it as always. Wouldn't be a show without you. Ixchnizzle, what's going on, buddy? Some picks here for golf before I go. Isaiah B, this for you, buddy. I got Davis in a 3-way, KH Lee in a 3-way, and Siwoo Kim in 3-way. So those are some bets coming up here later in the afternoon for you guys. Till then, I'll see you guys next week, Jim. Good times. I'll be tuning in for the 2 o'clock football show. So till then, be good, brother.
Sounds good. Great to have you, Gogster, my man. All right, let's move on to NBA. Look, the season's been atrocious. But last year, we got off to even a worse start than we were in coming in yesterday. And we ended up just under 18 units. So it's been atrocious. But we swept the board yesterday 4-0. And there's only been 1 year. The pandemic bubble year was the only year I didn't end up double-digit units working with you guys in NBA. And I still believe I'm going to end up healthy double-digit units up. And I hope that last night was a turning point for me. Cuban Connect says he's going to take the risk with the Canucks plus 205. I'll be cheering for you, Cuban Connect. I don't know if I can watch the game, though. It's just not healthy for my family. All right, let's move forward. NBA here last night was nice. Finally. God, I haven't been saying that enough. Indy Knicks first quarter under 59 cashed. Indy Knicks first half under 117 cashed. Suns team total under 107.5 cashed easily. Kings first quarter -3 cashed. All right, KD, we got Kadesh ready to work. A bunch of great NBA cappers in the chat. Let's move forward. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma City Thunder 18-23, 5-14 on the road at the Philadelphia 76ers, 25-15, 17-6 at home. We're at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. OKC 3-2 over their past 5, playing at a pace at 101.4 possessions a game. Philadelphia at 4-1, playing at a pace at 100.51 possessions a game. We'll open up with the line history here, but I see Mike M saying best look today in the NBA prop market is Kyrie Irving over 3.5 threes at plus 140. There's LJ from H-Town, Von Polo in the house. All right, let's fire away here. First, we'll take a look at the line history. Then we'll get into the cash flow. Line history-wise, just 6 games on the card here for us. The Sixers open up at -9.5 at -115. This moved to 10. Then it moved to 10.5. Now it's come back to 9.5. So there's been some buyback with the Thunder. And why wouldn't Thunder bettors trust them and want them? 25-15-1 against the spread this year. The total opened up at 232.5, and it's now at 233. It's up a half point at 233. Let's move over to the cash flow. God, this keeps happening. Sorry, it's gonna have to. Don't know what the hell's going on with it, but let's. Here we go, and move over to NBA. We'll just keep this up because I guess I gotta fucking upgrade my operating system or some shit. Here we go. 7,959 tickets in. They've given slight line value to Oklahoma City. 51% of the tickets and 61% of the cash is on Oklahoma City. 79% of the tickets and 93% of the cash is on the over. This is a high total for teams that aren't playing with very much pace. You can't talk about Philadelphia's efficiency with Harden playing better. and with Embiid in the lineup because he'd missed 3 games before the last one. But still, Oklahoma City playing at 101.4 possessions, Philadelphia 100.51 possessions, and this total at 233. Oklahoma City comes in off a 112-111 loss at Miami on Tuesday night. Isaiah B says Thunder covers. LJ from H-Town says 76ers 5-1 straight up last 6, and halftime average 62 points in first half. Last 15 games 7-2 straight up. At home versus the West. Interesting. LJ Shea went for 26, Giddey 18, 15, and 10. 6 triple doubles now for Giddey. Speaking of triple doubles, Harden had his 72nd in that 147-116 win at home over the Pistons on Tuesday night. Embiid went for 36, 11, and 2. And as I said, he'd missed 3 straight games with foot soreness. Isaiah B says Thunder 4-1 against the spread last 5 in Philly. And Harden seems to be finding himself within this system. It took him a little while. Obviously, he was dealing with injuries. Chip Plylar says seems like Philly is heating up. I'm hesitant right now. I know that the Sixers feel good about themselves, but I'm hesitant to. This would be Thunder or no bet, though. We see this Thunder team keep fighting and have been a good dog. Teron Hopkins likes the under here. So do I, Teron. I mean, if you sit here and think, God, you have all this money on the over, and it's now at 233, and the sharp money, the initial bets were on the under. This opened up at 232.5, and it was juiced to the under. This is at Pinnacle. Opened at 232.5 yesterday at 552, and within 7 minutes, it dropped to 231. I mean, who's betting that initial under? Those are sharp. Those are sharps waiting for the line to drop. The line drops, and they immediately like the under. And it makes me want to bet the under as well. I mean, we've seen the way the Pistons are playing. The Pistons are flying up the floor, and Philadelphia felt good about themselves, put up 147. Dan Kelly says maybe Philly team total over, says need to look at it more. I'm with you, Tron. I think that this is a spot where you have all these people on the over, and they've moved on it, in the last couple hours. Ixnizzle says the unders hit in 4 of the last 5 head-to-head matchups. Okay, I think that this under I do feel appealing. Make sure I get 233 here. I love the fact that the first bets moved it down, and then the public's come in and locked it up, and then there's 93% of tickets on the over at this point. Okay, I'm interested in the under 233 here in the first game. Let's move on to the next game. We hear in the chat, Chip Plylar says Jay Money likes the Nets. Well, we see what teams do in their first game without their star, and that's the situation that the Nets are in right now. Boston Celtics 30-12, 13-7 on the road at the Nets, 27-13, 13-5 at home. We're at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Both teams 4-1 over their past 5. Boston playing at a slightly quicker pace, 100.9 possessions a game. Take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Boston opening up at -3 at -105. That's exactly where they are right now. Totals wise, it's opened up at 227.5. It's now basically still there. It's at 228, but it's juiced quite heavily to the under. This is a more appropriate total for teams playing under 101 possessions a game. The 233 for Oklahoma City, Philadelphia seems 4 points too high to me. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. We have full line value from Sports Insights on the Brooklyn Nets. 111,659 tickets in. All of the sharp big bets are on the Brooklyn Nets. 27% of the tickets and 84% of the cash is on Brooklyn. You have 24% of the tickets and 53% of the cash on the under. So public also on the over in this spot. LJ from H-Town says Boston 8-2-1 straight up in the first quarter on the road versus the East, 6-0 on back-to-backs. Sammy Calmer says Nets outright. Justin McElvey putting $50 on the Kyrie double-double. There's Nasty Nate in the house. Mike M says Boston's won 8 in a row versus the Nets. Well, I feel like this is a situation where it's very difficult to go up against the sharp action here. Very difficult. and probably shouldn't be done. It probably shouldn't be done. And I don't want to do it. The under, I had a rough time with Celtics totals. They skyrocket over when I don't think they will. So I'm hesitant to move on it tonight. And also, you're going to have a Brooklyn Nets team that's probably going to be more tenacious defensively, knowing that KD is out. Mally Mal says no KD definitely hurts the Nets. Says very strong numbers here. Nasty Nate says that action is sharp as a marble from Nasty Nate. So Toronto Hopkins on the Nets money line. We know, look what we saw last night in college basketball. I mean, you can't trust sharp action just because it's sharp action. Ixnizzle says, I understand the star player out theory and all that. It's just a good spot, in his opinion, for the Celtics. Mohair says, Nets ain't winning this game. Come on, guys. Rocco Raj says, Thomas Grice confirmed for the Blues. Wow. Okay, so look, I'm going to stay off this spot because clearly we've seen it so often. North Ender says Bet Online open this at 5. Interesting. Let me move over there. Sorry, move over the spread. I have them opening up at 4. Opening at 4 yesterday at 1:14 p.m. But wow, yeah, no, look, it's and Rupee's out. Dude. Oh, I haven't even bet that yet though. Fuck, that doesn't help me. Okay, I get it. Maybe I'm going to watch this and go, of course, the Nets are doing what they do. Mike M says Celtics 10 in a row versus the Atlanta covered last 9, owned the Nets. No KD. Boston's won 5 in a row, first quarter and first half. I get it. I'm going to stay off of this spot. Sammy's going to be on the Rangers minus 119. I love it. I think I'm going to go for the score on the minus 1 line, even though if you're expecting a lower scoring game, which the market is, that's probably not a wise decision. Okay, let's move on. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Milwaukee Bucks. 27-4. He says yesterday at 1:05 lasted 1 minute. Wow, why would my book not be telling me that? Wow. So I have the line opening up here at BetOnline at 1:14 p.m. I wonder. Let's talk about this. I'd like to know what you are using to track the line. So can we talk at some point today? Because that you need all the information possible. If I'm not getting some of the information here, it angers me. All right, Bucks Heat is next up for us. FTX Arena in Miami. Bucks 27-14, 11-9 on the road. Heat 22-20, 12-9 at home. Milwaukee 4-1 over their past 5, playing at a pace of 100.7 possessions a game. Miami 3-2, playing at a pace of 96.50 possessions a game. Let's move over to the line history here for this one. Bucks Heat. We have at Pinnacle the Bucks opening up at +3. They're now +4. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 218.5. It's dropped to 217.5. Let's take a look at cash flow here. We have in this one, we have the Bucks being given about 33%, maybe less, 30% line value here. 5,779 tickets in. 32% of the tickets and 65% of the cash on the Heat. Public on the Bucks. Public road dog here. And then the Heat being backed by the bigger bets. Sports bet says Bucks roll. There's Troy Torrance in the house. LJ from H-Town says Bucks 9-2-1 straight up in the first quarter on the road versus Heat. 4-1 back-to-backs. Total-wise, 49% of tickets and 85% of cash on the under. Wow. This is an interesting one. So clearly the Heat getting healthy, and they're getting healthy, in a hurry. We expect 3 guys back, 3 starters back tonight. Let's see if we can get a final update here from it. Let's move over here, see if they can give us a final update, but I'm sure that is the case. So let's see if we have nothing yet here, but that's got to be what the market is seeing. Bucks on the second half of back-to-back after winning 114-105 at Atlanta last night. Antetokounmpo held to 7 points, but they rolled. He went for 18 boards and 10 assists. Holiday went for 27, Lopez 20 and 12. So they lose Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen injured ankle, so he's not going to be playing tonight. This is a team that started out 9-0. They're just 18-14 since, and Chris Middleton out 13 straight games due to a knee injury. You'll hear Giannis talk over and over about how much they need him here. There's Phila in the house. What up, Phila? So he coming off their second win in 3 games, 112-111 at home over the Thunder. Butler was so good, and it was just him drawing fouls all night, and then he hits 23 for 23 from the foul line. They go 40 for 40 on the foul line, and Bam and Hero and Kyle Lowry all missed the game, and all are expected back here. They're all expected back here. Dan Kelly says Bucks are in the worst rest situation of the season. Hard to get past that. Yeah, Troy, we just did the Nets game. I think that the Sharp action's right here. I think that the Bucks are going to be this big public road dog today. And I'm going to move on the Heat here. And I also think that if you like the Heat, then you trust the slower pace to be played. And I would say that I do as well trust that. So with that being said, this game means so much more to the Heat. This doesn't mean anything to the Bucks. And the Heat, they need to get right. They need to get confidence. They're 12-9 at home. Dan Kelly says another important thing, Bucks play their next game in Miami, party in South Beach. I guess then if that's the case, I could take just the under 217, or I could just focus on the Bucks, but 106.5. No, I guess I'll take that whole thing. So, okay, that's a double up spot for me. I'm on the Heat and the under. Rocco Rogers says the Heat was the play at the low number, but it's getting high for me now with just the level of talent the Bucks have. This reminds me of Bama Arkansas last night. Bama was just a better team. That's fair. That's fair. There's a huge difference in rest that can't be compared. You could say that Bama was a better team than Arkansas. They were both rested basketball teams. So at that point, when they have equal rest, Bama was the better team. They beat Arkansas, regardless of the sharp money being on Arkansas. Here, you can say the Bucks are the better team, and that's fair, but they're in a very bad travel situation. I know it's not a far trip from Atlanta to Miami, but they just played the first half of a back-to-back. I know that Giannis played in that last back-to-back, but he's been missing games here with his knee injuries for a long time. So, I hear what you're saying, and we saw in a huge detail that the Sharps aren't always right. So if you like the Bucks, you're going to be on a public road dog tonight, and it's a dangerous place to be. And if you're comfortable there, then fire away by all means. But I'm going to move on the Heat and the under. All right, let's move on here. That's a double up spot for me. We move on. Next up for us, we have Hornets Raptors. And the whole season is on the line here for the Raptors. And I know I said that to begin that this 6-game homestand was so important, but beating up on these minnows is so important right now. And these Raptors are getting so much stress and negative energy from the press. And I expect them to step up here. Now, that's an easy thing to say against the lowly Charlotte Hornets. Let's take a look at the line history and see what we are dealing with here in this one. And, of course, they just beat them. They just met on Tuesday and beat them 132-120. So do I want them as 8-point favorites? Charlotte 1-4 over their past 5, playing the pace of 103.60 possessions game, 6-17 on the road. Raptors 13-10 at home, 2-3 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 99.13 possessions a game. So they're 2-2 on this 6-game homestand, and this is their last chance. This team will be traded away for parts if they don't sweep this. They've won 2 straight. They haven't won 3 games in a row all year. Like, this is a huge game for the Raptors, and the Hornets know their fate. They're trash, and they're in the lottery. The Raptors, though, shot 45.5% from three. I don't know if that is something that we can count on. I mean, it's much higher than what they've been doing. That gives me a little bit of pause. Charlotte shot the ball really well in that loss. It's not like Charlotte played that badly. It's just the Raptors are a much better team than them. Rozier went for 33. LaMelo went for 24 and 14 assists. Charlotte was 42.9% from three and 54.7% from the field. So the reason is that Charlotte gets their asses kicked on the boards. You saw what happened when Plumlee went into the paint against Embiid. Embiid pulled his balls out and dragged them all over the bridge of Plumlee's nose. Now, we don't have anybody as badass as Embiid, but we outboarded them 49-34. And on the offensive boards, we outboarded them 18-6. I mean, why wouldn't the Raptors just go smash them again? I don't see why they wouldn't, but let's see where the action and cash is. 51% of tickets, 72% of cash on the Raptors. I mean, I just don't see why the Raptors don't smash them again. They're getting healthier. They need to win here. This isn't a spot where it's just some minnow they don't give a fuck about. The problem is, generally speaking, would you want to back a team that just beat that team by 12? Now, when I look at the reasons why the Raptors won, I think they do it again. They have to do it again. They have to do it again here. And I think they do it. I don't see why they don't do it again. How much money am I willing to invest or risk saying that they do that is the question. So, Raptors first half full game. And I've rarely bet on them this year. But I think it's smash and grab time. Okay, we have 2 games left in NBA before NCAA basketball with Daby Cab. Let me just get I think it's smash and grab time. And I'm going to move on to Raptors. God, it's just making for a sweaty fucking night. All right, 10 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Mavericks 23-19, 7-13 on the road at the LA Lakers 19-22, 10-8 at home. We're at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Dallas 2-3 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 97.40 possessions a game. The Lakers 4-1, playing at the pace of 105.30 possessions a game. I wonder if that total in that fucking Hornets game is just too high. Let's take a look at it quickly here. No, it can't be. The Hornets are just... Okay, we'll keep rolling here. Lucas Ryan says, on your last smash and grab, you were dead on. I would go with it again. I'm going to. I think I'm going to. Thank you for saying it. It's just hard to... It's just not been a very good 2023 capping-wise, but hopefully we had the NBA turning point last night. Okay, let's discuss this Mavericks-Lakers spot. We hear Joe Yurkovich is on the Lakers first half. Von Polo says, give me the Lakers. Let's see what we have line history-wise for this Lakers spot. We have the Lakers opening up at my +3. They're now +2.5. From a total perspective, it opened up at 231. It's now up to 235.5. The Lakers have been flying up and down the court here. Tron liking the under here. Johnny Gunn's first half over, says hammer spot. Let's take a look at the cash flow. 6,032 tickets in. 63% of the tickets and 91% of the cash on the Lakers. So, you could say they've passed that 60% number that I used to make them a public dog. You could say that, but, the big bets are coming in on them, 91% of the cash. 63% of the tickets on the over, and this over has climbed and climbed and climbed. Excellent work, DC Capper. I've been watching. You've been flying. It's been excellent. So keep it up, my man. So who's going to dictate pace here? That's the key. Because this total at 235.5 is very high, considering that the better basketball team plays at the pace at 97.4 possessions a game. Mavericks coming off their second straight loss, 113-101 at the Clippers on Tuesday. Luka sat out the loss to Oklahoma City with the left ankle soreness. He came back, went for 43 and 11. So they've now lost 3 of 4 following that 7-game winning streak. They've also opened this road trip up 0-2. They have 2 games left, both at Portland over the weekend. So they can make things, they can fix things. Sky Dragon says Luka will dictate the pace. that would be my expectation too, that he would dictate the pace. Everybody's been seeing how fast the Lakers have been running up and down the floor, and they're at home. But this is an absurd number if you think that the pace will be dictated by the Mavs. Dwight Powell, with the hip injury, left Tuesday's game, did not return. Kleber and Finney Smith and Josh Green all out. Lakers had their 5-game winning streak snapped in a 122-109 loss at Denver on Monday night. LeBron was not there. Either was Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, Troy Brown, Pat Bev, and Anthony Davis, of course, has been out for a long time. Great seeing you, Rodney Barton, my man. Great seeing you, Rodney Barton, in the house. Respect. So, with all that being said, I think that we don't have a cash. God, it's still falling apart. It's so stupid. Sorry, my Sports Insights is dropping every time I take it off the page. We don't have a cash flow for the cash on the under, but you'd have to think that this has just gone too far at 235.5, and I do think it's gone too far. So, I mean, maybe at 231, you can look at the Lakers. You can cap it with the Lakers controlling the pace and say that this game is going to go over. But I'm with Sky Dragon saying Luka will control the pace, and this is far too fast. All right, I'm on the under 235.5. Let's talk about the final game on the board. And I'm going to stay away from the sharp money, but there's a lot of the public on the Lakers as well. All right, Cleveland Cavaliers 26-16, 8-12 on the road at the Portland Trailblazers 19-21, 9-7 at home, where the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Cleveland 3-2 over their past 5, playing at a pace of 95.51 possessions a game. That's the slowest in the NBA over that stretch. Portland 1-4, playing at a pace of 102.20 possessions a game. All right, let's take a look at the line history here for this final game on the board. We have Portland opening up as 3-point dogs. They are still 3-point dogs, and no movement from a total perspective. Opened up at 223.5 and has dropped to 220.5. I mean, if you think that there's 15 points less of a total in this game than in this Mavericks Lakers game, and the difference is in possessions a game is 5 possessions a game. So what, are you going to can threes for those 5 possessions to make it make sense as 235.5? Are you telling me that the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Blazers aren't playing as efficiently as the Lakers and the Mavs? I think this total makes sense. Cavs coming off their second loss in 3 games, 116-114 at Utah on Tuesday night. They're not really to be trusted on the road, and I keep seeing people trusting them on the road, and I find it hard to believe. Here they are again, 54% of the tickets and 87% of the cash is on the Cavs. Then you have 54% of tickets, 81% cash on the under, and the market's moved to the under. Dan Kelly says Cavs would have beat Utah if Allen didn't get sick. Says Levert was horrible subbing in for Allen at the end of that loss. So Mike M says, with rest, road conference teams facing a team they beat and went under the total of the previous meeting are 1-14 against the spread, down 10.73 points per game. Suggests Portland plus the money. Mitchell scored 46 in that loss at Utah. Cleveland's 1-2 on this 5-game road trip, and I think they'll be spurred on with the idea that Ricky Rubio has fought his way back to get back on the floor. I mean, it's been over a year since that ACL was torn. Blazers coming off their 4th straight loss, 109-106 at home to Orlando on Tuesday night. Lillard went for 30. This is 10 of 11 games at home, and that was a horrific performance against Orlando. They were never in the lead all game long against the Magic, and this is a good time to probably start backing the Blazers. In saying that, I find it very difficult to do it, and I don't know if I can do it here. Especially with the big bets coming in on Cleveland, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, and the under's already been spoken for. Keep it close. These are the opportunities, like with the Raptors at home. These are an opportunity to keep a close eye on these Blazers, and when they get a nice stanza of games at home, you can really get a good feel for the team and when they have value, when they don't. We're going to move on to college basketball. Let's review NBA. I'm on the under 233 in Oklahoma City, Philadelphia. I'm on the Heat and the under in Milwaukee, Miami. I'm on the Raptors first half and full game. And I'm on the under 235.5 in Dallas, LA Lakers. Let's get fucking hot here. Let's get fucking hot in NBA. We have tough starts. We always, by working together and working hard, build back into the black, double-digit units in the black. That's what I need right now. Champagne and OJ says, yes, Jimmy, it's much like the Clippers' second home game. I am still nervous. Troy Torrance says all the money on the Cavs, but the line is not budged. That's a very important point, Troy, that you're making. A very, very important point. And there's a lot of moving parts in that game. All right, we move on to college basketball, and I love this segment. I love working with Daby Cab, and we need to be better. We were not good enough yesterday, and we've had good seasons. Daby Cab's had a great season. His Wednesday, Thursdays here, because we track it's just a small sample size of his record, haven't been as good as he wants it to be. I know he's champing at the bit, and that's what it's called. It's champing at the bit. For all of you who've said chomping at the bit, it's not chomping at the bit. It's champing at the bit. You're saying it wrong. You've been saying it wrong for 50 years. We need to get to work here, and we need to get this fucking cash. Daby Cab yesterday hurt. I was good. I swept the board in NBA, and then NCAA basketball takes all the money out of my fucking pocket, pisses me the fuck off. Let's get that fucking money right now, Daby Cab. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, Dabra Cadabra. Dabby, how are you?
I like that intro, man. I'm ready to go. You fucking motivated me. You sound like Kirby in the locker room when he said, ain't no need to be nervous. Go out there and kick the fucking shit out of them.
I love it. Let's go. We need to dig deep here. We need winners right now. We have 10 games picked out. We start at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And yesterday we had all those 7 p.m. games. Today we have all these 9 p.m. Eastern games. So we are moving sort of to the other side of the country. We're heading out west for a lot of our action. We have 2 games out east, and then it's almost all Western action. One thing that is important to mention is the Pac-12 has often been a spot that I've shied away from. But I was reviewing my record, what's been working, what hasn't been working, and I've been crushing the Pac-12 this year. I really feel like the market, the actual where the money lies, has helped enormously, and the home dogs have cashed for me with an enormously high ROI in the Pac. Talk about that. Let's get to work right now. Minnesota Golden Gophers 6-8 have yet to win in the Big Ten. At the Ohio State Buckeyes 10-5, 2-2 in the Big Ten. We're in Columbus, Ohio, at Value City Arena for this one. Let's go over to the line history here and then hand it over to our man, Dabra Cadabra here. Minnesota, Ohio State. We have Ohio State opening up as 15-point favorites. That got up to 15.5. It's now at 14.5. That was at Bookmaker. I don't know why I was on, but at Pinnacle, it opened up at 15, and it's at 15. Let's see what BetOnline opened it at. BetOnline opened this at 15, and it's at 14.5. Okay, interesting. Okay, totals-wise, at Pinnacle, this opened up at 137. It got down to 134.5. There's been buyback. It's now at 136. From the cash perspective, the highest implied line value on the entire board today is on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The third highest implied value is on our next game. It's on Iowa. The second highest is on a game we're not hammering. It's Detroit against Youngstown State. But here we go. 3,497 tickets in. 28% of the tickets are on Minnesota and 60% of the cash. The big bets are coming in on the Golden Gophers. Not only that, Stimmy OG is on the Golden Gophers. And Mike M says, love Iowa tonight. And Troy says, Iowa with emphasis.
Yeah.
Both teams come in off 2 straight losses. Minnesota comes off a second straight loss, 81-79 at home to Nebraska on Saturday as 3-point dogs. They played well, and that makes me nervous. They shot 48.4% from the field and only turned the ball over 7 times and lost. That gives me a pause to back them. Ohio State comes in off its second straight loss, 80-73 at Maryland as 1.5-point dogs on Sunday. So Minnesota has 1 day of extra rest, but they have to travel. There's my guy, Nufflush Allen, in the house. Take it away, Daby Cab. First game on the board for us, Minnesota, Ohio State.
So my first question, and I was capping into it, so I tried to find it, is Zed Key for Ohio State. I was on Ohio State in that last loss. Luckily, I was on first half full game, so I split, which, still sucks, but I was able to split that game. But Zed Key, he's important for them, especially with this Minnesota team, because this Minnesota team has some size. And I thought Zed Key was going to be back last game, and I was completely wrong, and I looked like an ass making an assumption because he wasn't. So I'll say that. And one other thing, Jimmy, since you touched on it before we get in, you'll never meet somebody who's more competitive than me. I want my bankroll to be good, but when I see shit like that, it makes me so goddamn mad. The only 2 negative days that I've had in the past week are the fucking Wednesdays, and I liked yesterday's card too. I was so mad, but we're gonna get this one here today. So Minnesota's just been horrible on offense. That size hasn't paid off for them. That's the problem with Minnesota. Ohio State, their offense has been pretty electric. 38.4% from deep. They're hitting 54% of their shots inside the paint. Top 20 in the offensive boards. Again, Zed Key needs to be there, though. This is a huge key. They beat Maryland. Just so everybody understands, Maryland does not win that game if Zed Key plays. End of story. And that's how it is. Sense of ball has been great for this Ohio State team. I really enjoy watching how he facilitates the offense. I'm not getting involved in this game with that line value that you're talking about, and this is a ton of points for an Ohio State team that's been up and down. But this Ohio State team, I'll say this, they have all the pieces, and if they're healthy, this is a team to watch going forward. This just isn't the spot.
Well, I want to follow the Sharps here in this spot. I think the big bets are telling us that Zed Key's not going to be in the lineup.
Right. Okay. Yeah. If he's not in the lineup, it's not. Minnesota dominates the boards this game because of their size.
And it's a sprained shoulder that we're talking about. So that's something that you just don't want to push.
Well, here's why I made the assumption. Okay. So after the game, I literally, and just so you guys know how deep I get into this college basketball shit, I watched his interview. I looked it up to watch it, and Zed said himself, he was like, it's no big deal. It feels fine. And I'm smart enough to know not to listen to the fucking athlete, because I would have said the same shit if I was up there talking. You need to hear it from a trainer. You need to hear it from somebody else. But I listened to his interview, so I thought he was going to be back, but he's not. It might be more serious than what we think.
Yeah, I want Minnesota. There's no chance of a double up here, so I would have to decide between first half and full game. If the Golden Gophers have a size advantage here, I'd probably want it to be full game.
I would think.
Phila has the plus 14.5 in his pocket. I think that I want 40 minutes to have that over them. So Minnesota full game, my first spot on the board.
And also, I think full game is a better spot too, Jimmy, because you're staying away from the fact that Ohio State's not happy right now. They're not happy about losing to Maryland. So that first half, with or without Zed Key, they might come out kind of aggressive.
It's a good point. They're an angry group. They're an angry group. Dan Vlader confirmed in net for the Flames, says Billy Friedrich. That might make some of you guys a little concerned about the action that you have on Calgary, and understandably so. DC Capper is got 5% on SIU Edwardsville, Eastern Illinois, under 136.5. There it is from our DC Capper. I will copy and paste that, my friend. Okay, let's roll on. Next up for us, Daby, and this is our last game, for the early slot. All of our action is in the late spot. Michigan Wolverines 9-6, 3-1 in the Big Ten at the Iowa Hawkeyes 10-6, 2-3 in the Big Ten. Iowa City, Iowa, Carver Hawkeye Arena for this one. I already told you guys that they're this third highest on the entire board implied value, line value at this point is Iowa, but the books have moved quickly. Pinnacle opened this up at -4. It's now at -6. Bet Online opened this up at -3. It's now at -5.5. One interesting thing, though, is that it got up to 5.5 at Bet Online and then dropped down to 4. It's now back at 5.5. Let's see what Bet365 has done. 4. They opened up 4 and it's at 5.5. It got up to 6 and they came back. So that's interesting. We'll take a look at the cash flow, but it looks like there is certainly being buyback at times on Michigan. This total at 154.5. There's been an 8-cent move to the under, and we have 38% of the tickets on Iowa and 5% of the cash. Now, the sample size is decent, 4,461.
What the hell?
In. So 60. So you have a public dog and the books at times opening up their arms to it, and then at times kind of coming back a little bit. 57% of the tickets are on the under. No cash flow for that under. Michigan had their modest 2-game winning streak snapped in a 59-53 loss at Michigan State on Saturday's 3-point dogs. Iowa won their second straight game, 76-65 at Rutgers on Sunday as 5.5-point dogs. It was impressive. Take it away for us, Daby Cab. And just quick heads up, Johnny Gunn says all my numbers have Michigan covering, looking toward the under. The ball is in your court. Take it away, Wolverines, Hawkeyes.
So when I say both of these teams have been bipolar, Iowa has had injuries that they've dealt with, whether injuries, whatever. We're not going into it. They've had people coming and going throughout the season. Michigan, on the other hand, this team has just been completely bipolar. Michigan's putting up 74.9 points per game on 44.6% shooting. But it's like, it's Dickerson or nothing for this team. When he's on, when he stays out of foul trouble, when they can get him the ball, he has the opportunity. He can dominate anybody. He really just can. But the thing is here with Iowa, even with their struggles, they're still putting up 81.4 points per game on 44.8% shooting. And believe it or not, according to the numbers, Iowa's a better rebounding team than Michigan. Iowa gets more rebounds. They're the better offensive team. And as bipolar as both of these fucking teams have been, if I'm being honest, I think Iowa wins this simply because they're not relying on one player. Like, I don't like teams that are relying on one player. It's Dickerson and then everyone else with Michigan. And I hate that. I hate unless you have a specific spot where you can circle and say, that Dickerson is going to, like with Maryland, like you could just kind of tell with like that Michigan Maryland game that who the fuck was Maryland going to use to stop him. But here, Iowa, with the pace that they play, with the way that they push the ball, Dickerson's not going to keep up with them. If Iowa gets hot at all from deep, which they have been cold, but have the shooters who have the ability to get hot. If Iowa gets hot at all, how does Michigan keep up?
Yeah, then the question is, has the line moved too far? What do you think?
That's the question I can't answer for you. I mean, I can give you my opinion. 6 is a lot here. I could see Iowa winning this game by, what's it at, 6.5? I think they cover the 5.5. I think the 3, what was it, 3.5 when it opened?
The very, very first offshores put it at 3.5. Most opened it at 4.
Okay, because 3.5 was beautiful. I mean, I could see them. I could see them being up by 4 or 5 points, getting a couple foul shots at the end of the game, and really coming right down to this number. But I think Iowa wins. And if you get, I don't know. I'm sorry if that doesn't help answer that.
No, it does. It's fine here. This is wild. 95% of the cash is on Michigan, and the line moving towards Iowa. It's absolutely wild. It's just showing you that these books are trying to beat us. They don't want even money. They just want to beat us.
And hell, I was so close to pulling the trigger with you on A&M full game yesterday, and I'm so mad I didn't. And does this not feel like that? They're begging you to bet Michigan here. How are they not? Michigan beat the shit out of the last 2 teams they played. Everybody saw it. Everybody knows Iowa's been struggling. They are begging us to bet on Michigan. Like, please, please, please bet Michigan is what they're asking us. And we're talking about a Michigan team that averages almost 10 points less per game than Iowa. If Iowa gets hot at all and they're on their home court, Michigan doesn't keep up.
Yeah. Well, we have a very, very public road dog.
They're Missouri yesterday. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So for me, it's Iowa and no bet. The question will come down to, do you want it at 5.5 or has it moved too far? And I'm going to need to put a little bit more time on that, but I expect to move on Iowa if I get the 5.5. We move out west now. 8 games left on the card, and we're focusing on late game action. 9 p.m. Eastern. Colorado Buffaloes 11-6, 1-3 on the road at USC Trojans 11-5, 7-1 at home. With the in LA for this one. Let's talk about the line history here. We have moved down to 9 o'clock action. Sorry, let's take a second. Here we go. Colorado opening up as 2.5-point dogs. That's moved to 3.5. It is juiced. It's basically a 3. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 141.5. It's now at 140. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. Move over here. They have given Colorado some line value, maybe 20% line value. There's 2,484 tickets in, and the Sharps are all over Colorado. 39% of the tickets and 86% of the cash. Big bets have been made on Colorado. 63% of the tickets are on the over, and it's gone up. It's gone down 1.5 points. Colorado comes in off its second straight win, 62-42 at home over Oregon State. Is that right? Yeah, it's 14.5-point favorites there. USC comes in off its second straight loss, 60-58 at UCLA last Thursday's 11-point dogs. And that was a game where the public was all over USC, and I was concerned that it was too many people were on them. Now, when we take a look at the similarities between other situations, one, that line opened up at 14 and ended at 11. So clearly the book showed some fear. If you watched only the first half, you would think, wow, public's going to lose, take a bath on this one. But UCLA took their foot off the gas, and USC almost won that game. So it's important to talk about what happens when a public dog wins. Well, the first thing that happened is at least we saw the market show fear, moving it from 14 to 11, unlike what the market is doing here with the Michigan game. Take it away here for us, Daby Cab, Colorado, USC.
So if USC is taking all the sharp money and they've got more money on them, why has the line moved so much?
Well, here Colorado has the sharp money, 39% of the tickets and 86% of the cash. But you're right.
That's what I'm saying. If Colorado has the money, why are we moving towards? I got Colorado or USC at a point better last night.
Yeah, they're making it more appealing to bet Colorado. You're absolutely right. And if you have USC minus 2.5, you have
and I tweeted it. I tagged you in it too last night because I could see that it was, and I'm showing that some places have this all the way up to 4 now.
Yeah, then you have every reason to feel comfortable with it. What was the juice you got on the minus 2.5?
Minus 110. It was even. And then I also took a first half line at minus 0.5 point, but that was minus 120. So I paid a little bit for that. And that minus 120 now for the first half is showing minus 1.5 is the best that they can get.
Yeah, you have every right to be confident here.
Well, so because I hate hearing, sharp money's against me. Like, I hate to hear that. But my question is, if the money's on Colorado and it's moved this much towards USC, that says something, right?
Well, Wine Time saw 4 somewhere. I can't find 4s anywhere, but
Here, let me look. I can
at Bet Online. This went to 3.5, and it's back at 3. So, and at Bet Online, the first move was towards Colorado. This opened up at 2.5, and then it moved to 2.
So it's showing some 3s, but I think it might have got all the way up to 4 and 4.5 at one point. Now it's back to either 3.5 or no, it never got to 4.5. It's 3 and it's still. I'm still showing that it's 3.5 most places.
Well, talk about the X's and O's. Why do you?
Okay, yeah, my bad. Sorry, I was just
all good.
Okay, so I like Boogie Ellis. First off, the leader of this team. Boogie Ellis is a great facilitator. He's putting up 15.7 per game for USC. He had 27 in the win over Washington, but he got shut down against UCLA in that game. And just like when a team shoots bad, we like to look at the next game because maybe they'll shoot better. I think he's chomping at the bit, not necessarily like a whole team thing. I think Boogie Ellis will be chomping at the bit to get out here, especially on the home court. And I really like watching this kid play. USC's coming off back-to-back losses too. They're tough losses. They're against UCLA and Washington State. Washington State's an all right team, and neither of these losses were bad. 10 points to Washington State, but it was closer than that. And then only 2 points to UCLA. Neither of these are embarrassing. And you look at what this team has also done. They've got wins over Washington, Colorado State. They beat Auburn on this same home court. So they've got good wins. Whereas Colorado, what everybody saw from Colorado and what I think kind of like we talk about with Michigan and what we talk about with Missouri is I think everybody saw them stomp the shit out of Oregon, and they stomped the shit out of Oregon State. So what? Those two Oregon basketball teams are not good basketball teams. And I've stood on that and I've said it. Oregon State and Oregon aren't really that good of basketball teams. Colorado, what they have done is they've only allowed 93.1 points per 100 possessions. That's good for 32nd in the nation. But I just don't see it here with USC. I like USC. I doubled up on it. It's what I did. I think USC wins this game. They need to. They're a good basketball team. Not a great basketball team, but they're a good basketball team. And on the home court tonight, I think they take it.
It's exciting. It's an exciting look. It's an exciting game. We have cappers in the chat, like Stimmy OG on Colorado +4, Wine Time on Colorado +4. It's fascinating. And
USC beat Auburn at home just recently, Mike. One of their most recent games was a win over Auburn.
Well, Cabby on a double up spot on USC. Our guy Cuban Connect will lead us into the next game. We stay in the Pac-12. Cuban Connect says Arizona State money line. Arizona State Sun Devils 13-3, 4-1 in conference. At Oregon Ducks 9-7, 3-2 in conference. Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene, Oregon. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Arizona State opening up as 4-point dogs. They're now 5-point dogs. Some offshores had this opening up at 3, and now it's at 5. This total opened up at 135.5 and is now at 136.5. When we take a look at the cash flow here for this one, where is it? 9 o'clock start. Come on. Fucking hate this. Hate not being able to find these games. I'll find it here in a second. But let's move over to setting a table. As long as here we go. They've given Arizona State probably I would say 40% line value, at least 35% line value. But the big bets are coming in on Oregon, and the line's moving. 41% of tickets are on Oregon, and 89% of the cash. 79% of tickets and 91% of cash on the over. Well, that's a big move on the over. And the total's gone up a point or a point and a half. Interesting. So big bets on the over, market moving towards the over. Big bets on Oregon, market moving towards Oregon. So it's at least everything's explainable here. Arizona State comes on off its second straight win, 73-65 at home versus Washington on Sunday is 9.5-point favorites. Oregon comes off its second win in 3 games, 70-60 at Utah on Saturday. It's 4.5-point dogs. That's a tough place to play. There was a big win for Oregon. And I guess the market expecting them to keep it rolling here against the Sun Devils. Cuban Connect doesn't. Take it away here. Arizona State, Oregon Ducks.
So this Arizona State team, man, they don't shoot well. They don't do a lot of things well, but they play hard. They're a fun team to watch. 12th in the nation in rebounding. I know it sounds weird when I compare teams, but I can't help it. And, I thought about one thing with this show. I only give out exactly what I bet, but I was thinking about a lot of the breakdowns, like with the Georgia game we talked about yesterday. I just had that feeling with Georgia. I just they got that momentum. They got something going. Same thing with Arizona State. I just feel the momentum with this team. I feel what they got going. They're 123rd in scoring offense. They're only 305th in 3-point shooting, so that's terrible. But like I said, they're crashing the boards. On the other side, the Ducks are 63rd in defense, 66 on the boards also. So what I'm thinking, what people are kind of seeing happening for the Oregon love here in this game is I think that they're basically saying that Oregon might be able to match Arizona State on the boards. And if Arizona State's matched on the boards, it'll make it a tough game. But when I look at this, the way that Oregon turns the ball over and with the heart that I've seen this Arizona State team play with, and I know you can't measure heart, but Oregon turns the ball over way too much. They're careless with the basketball, and Arizona State's going to be playing aggressive. This is a tough spot for me. I think I'd probably take the dog here with Arizona State.
Wow, yeah, and Cuban Connect liking them as well. Mally Mal looking at them first half. See, I think that a corner could have been turned, and it's also I would like to see how Arizona State has fared on the road. I think let me pull that up here because we see these Pac-12 teams winning comfortably at home and the home dogs cashing at a very high rate. And
Oregon's got that ugly ass weird court too. I know it doesn't really matter, but it's a fucking weird looking color.
Arizona State opened the year, well, it was third game of the year, but losing to Texas at Texas Southern. They beat up on SMU. They lost by 37 at San Francisco.
They've shown signs of still being the same old Arizona State team. They have done that this year. That's definitely true.
They look good at home. They fall apart on the road. Cuban Connect, I get it. I do lean towards Oregon. And I think the market is telling us that points are going to be scored in this one. So I lean towards both. I'm going to spend more time on it, but and I don't want to go up against Cuban Connect, but I want to see Arizona State do it on the road. Do it on the road in conference play. Because before you can do that, I'm not going to trust you to be able to do that.
Well, I'm not allowed to bet on Oregon, so it's Arizona State or pass for me.
All right, well, let's move on. This next game, I almost bet before the show started, but it was just time was an issue, and I didn't. This was going to be the lone bet that I would have had in already. Sam Houston Bearcats 12-4, 5-3 on the road at Southern Utah Thunderbirds 11-6, 6-1 at home. Cedar City, Utah. It's a tough place to play, America First Event Center, and I was going to move on the Thunderbirds. I plan on moving on the Thunderbirds, and I would have had the bet in already, but I don't. Sam Houston comes in off its second win in 3 games, 75-68 at home over Tarleton. It was Tarleton, right? Tarleton on Saturday as 10-point favorites. They auto-corrected to Carleton, but I'm sure it's Tarleton. Southern Utah comes in off its second win in 3 games, 74-72 at Abilene Christian on Saturday. It's 2.5-point dogs. Look, Sam Houston's a good basketball team, and they've had some big surprising wins this year, but they were favored. Now, when I looked at this last night, and I probably should have moved on it last night, but I wanted to get a better idea of what the market was doing. They had Sam Houston as 2.5-point favorites. Right now, Sam Houston is a 1-point dog. I don't think that's that big of a deal, me not getting the pick'em price and having to deal with like a -1. But I agree with this look. So they're at -1 now. They opened up +2.5. So we've gone from dog to favorite. 142 is the total down to 140.5. And when we take a look at the cash, 40% of tickets and 83% of cash is on Southern Utah. I think Southern Utah takes care of business here. Daby Cab, the floor is yours. Take it away.
So this is one of those ones where I haven't seen either of these teams play. And we're almost at the point this year where even the smaller schools I've seen, because, I have the ESPN Plus and any possible way you can watch games, I find a way to watch them. But I will tell you this, out of everything I read, and I did do some good research on this game, I would lean Southern Utah with you. There are some trends here. Sam Houston is 19-9 ATS last, or however many, I can't do math, 19-9 ATS or less, whatever games. So they have been covering spreads, but so does Utah. Both these teams are good. I think Mally Mal might be onto something with the over 141 in the chat. Sam Houston averaging 78 points per game on 46.8% shooting. They only allow 57.1% on 38% shooting. So Sam Houston's got a good defense. But they haven't gone against a team like Southern Utah. The Southern Utah team's putting up 87.2 points per game, shooting 47.8%, which is great. They're allowing 73.5 points per game, but they push the pace a little bit. And that's, I always say this, people are going to give up more points when they push the pace. The defense is on the court longer. That's all it is. So they've been doing a good job there. I think Southern Utah at home here just makes the most sense. I think at home here, Southern Utah, with all the numbers I've looked into and everything I've read, Southern Utah seems like the team here at home.
I agree. This looks like it's a double up spot for me. First half and full game, Southern Utah, and would have been better to move when it was at +2.5, but I'm fine with it here. But you're staying off of this spot there?
I'll stay off just because. I'm at a point. I'm at a tipping point, Jimmy. We might see something next week. I might be at a point where I start firing away more on what we like. Because to be honest, we've done a pretty good job breaking some of these games down that we don't bet, and that kills me. So I might start firing away more here soon. We'll see.
All right, it's all good. This is the second spot that if I would have put a little bit more time aside if I was going to bet both of these, but getting off of this just based on the market is the reason probably why I didn't put in that bet on Southern Utah. Next up for us, Loyola Marymount Lions, 12-6, 2-3 on the road at St. Mary's Gales, 14-4, 10-2 at home at University Credit Union Pavilion in Moraga, California. I was going to bet Loyola Marymount, and then I got cold feet. We have Loyola Marymount opening up at +13.5. They're +14 now. These are all Pinnacle openers. Total open up at 128. 3-cent move to the over at 128 here. We take a look at the cash flow for the Loyola spot. Pull it up here. We have line value on Loyola. So that was the first thing I saw. I was like, okay, that's good. I like that. I like where this is going. There's probably about 40% line value. 1,216 tickets in, but all the big bets are coming in on St. Mary's. 48% of the tickets are on Loyola, but just 12% of the cash. No help with the total 50-50 with the tickets. We don't have a cash flow. Loyola comes on off its second loss in 3 games, 72-70 at home in San Francisco on Saturday. They were 2-point favorites and probably should have won that game, and they're angry. St. Mary's comes in off its 5th straight win. They destroyed Portland. They were 16.5-point favorites. They win 85-43. I just wonder if they're fat and happy here. But I'm not going to go up against the big bets that are being made on them and the market not moving towards Loyola. Take it away, Cab. Floor is yours. Loyola, St. Mary's.
Billy, I see him in the chat saying this is too many points. Man, I could see this being anywhere from 8 to a 20-point game. This is a tough cap. This St. Mary's team is so underrated. The fact that they're not ranked blows my mind. There's no excuse for the St. Mary's team not to be. Rankings don't matter. That shit don't mean nothing. But there's no excuse for this team not to be ranked within the top 25 in the AP poll. Loyola, they're 108th on offense. They're putting up 75.8 points per game, or 101st, excuse me. They're giving up 69.5, which is 203rd in the nation. Whereas the Gales on the other side, they're only putting up 71.2 points per game, which is slightly above average. But what this team does is they lock the fuck down on defense. And that's why you see this total where it is. They're only giving up 57.4 points per game. That's good for 4th in the nation. They've got the fourth best defense in the nation. At home, this team is 10-2. I don't know how this team's not ranked. It is a lot of points. It's a whole lot of points. I mean, and we're talking about games like this where we look at, UCLA, USC last week, where we're saying, okay, yeah, UCLA is a better team, but this is too many points, right? Like this, this is a tough one right here, man. Tough. I think St. Mary's is a very good basketball team. 13 points might be too many.
I like the spot for Loyola too, but I'm not going to go up against what I perceive as big action. So, sharp action. Let's move on. 9 p.m. Eastern. Southern Miss Golden Eagles, 14-3, 3-1 in the Sun Belt. Little Sun Belt, Fun Belt action going up against the Marshall Thundering Herd. 13-4, 2-2 in the Sun Belt. There's Alec in the house. What up, Alec? Great to see you, man. We're the Cam Henderson Center in Huntington, West Virginia. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. Southern Miss Marshall. Southern Miss opening up as 7.5-point dogs. They got up to 9.9-point dogs, but they're 8.5-point dogs now. From a total perspective, it opened up at 145. It's now at 146. We have 1,115 tickets in, and the market doesn't really help us here. We have 61% of the tickets on Marshall. Market's moving towards Marshall. I don't have a cash number. 80% of tickets, 81% cash on the over, and it's gone up a point, but it got up to 148.5, and then there was considerable buyback. Southern Miss comes in off its third win in 4 games, 65-68 UL Monroe on Saturday, 6.5-point favorites. Marshall snapped their 2-game losing streak with an 81-66 win at home over Coastal Carolina on Saturday as 13-point favorites. Take it away, Cab, Southern Miss, Marshall.
So, and we both know this is a Southern Miss team that I rolled with last week that frustrated me a little bit. They're putting up 76.1 points per game on 46.2% shooting. So they're not bad. Offense efficiency rating 167th highest. Their junior guard, Crowley, I talked about him last week. He's good. He's been great. 17.2 points per game. It's been a lot of fun to watch. But like you said, this Marshall team, they score. They put up a lot of points, 81.7 points per game. That's good for 21st in the nation. And they're doing it on 46.5% shooting, including 32.2% from deep, which is, that's great. What they don't do is shoot free throws, but I'm not going to go too much into that. They're a little off on the free throw line. But Marshall on defense, giving up 69.1 points per game. This another one seems like a little bit of a tough cap. I'd have to go with the favorite here in this one, though. I would only take Marshall. I think that they're gonna out rebound in this game. On the defensive side, they can hold their own, and I also think. I think they're just a better team here. They're also 6-1 ATS their last 7 home games. So if for people who like spread, they've been good at home. So I think I'd roll with Marshall here. It's a tough place to play, and it's a good basketball team.
Yeah, and the market moving towards them. Yes, I'm a little hesitant to fade Southern Miss. These are 2 good basketball teams. I look forward to. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have watching this. I'm going to have so much other action going on, but I will watch part of this game. I get a better feel for these 2 teams. That's why I put it into the rotation here today. I wanted to talk about these 2 teams. I think we'll be hearing more about them as we move throughout the season.
Troy made a good point. He said 8 points seems like a team. 8 points seems like a lot for a team that doesn't shoot free throws well. A lot of times there's so many different reasons for first half, but another thing for first half is you're never going to have people fouling to stop the clock, right? You're never going to have that. That's not going to be a part of it. It just won't. So there you go. If you want to eliminate free throws, maybe look first half if that's what you're wanting.
Yeah, no, interesting point. A good one. Good one there. All right, let's move on. We move on to a big one, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. The number 8 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs, 14-3, 3-0 in conference at the BYU Cougars, 13-6, 3-1 in conference. We're in Provo for this one. BYU opening up at +6.5. That +6.5 is now juiced to -118. From a totals perspective, opened up at 149.5. It's now 152.5. We have 3,092 tickets in. Sports Insights has given BYU about 15% line value. 76% of the tickets are on Gonzaga and 94% of the cash. 76 and 94. And the market is slightly moving towards BYU. 89% of tickets are on the over, market moving in that direction. I've had great success fading Gonzaga in the first half on the road this year.
Yeah.
And I don't see why I stop here. Gonzaga comes in off its 9th straight win, 81-76 at Santa Clara on Saturday's 8.5-point favorites. They're making things look tough. They're not making anything look easy. Look, against the spread this year, the Bulldogs are 5-11. But I still just want to fade them first half. BYU bounced back from its loss to Loyola Marymount by winning at San Diego on Saturday, 68-48. It's 5-point favorites. I don't see why I wouldn't go back to the well, and that well being fading Gonzaga first half. 94% of the cash is on Gonzaga, but the market's not moving towards them. Take it away, Daby Cab, Gonzaga, BYU.
Everything you just said, man, just stop me in my tracks here, because it's like, I get it. For some of those trends, right now, Gonzaga's 4-11 ATS on the season. They haven't been covering spreads whatsoever. BYU has been a good team. They're putting up 74.5 points per game on 44.1% shooting. 14th best team in the rebounding margin in college basketball, which is great. Allowing 66.7 points per game on 41.2% shooting. That's 28th on defense efficiency. Gonzaga's 0-4 right now, ATS on the road this season. I was a little shocked by the numbers you just read me. I guess the public just doesn't pay attention to fucking anything. I figured the money would be coming in on BYU here. And I liked Gonzaga first half simply because at 3.5, I just think that, they're one of the highest they've got one of the highest shooting percentages in the country. According to adjusted schedule, they're the 4th best offense in the country. And like I said, BYU does allow 66.7 points per game and 41.2% shooting, which is a little below average compared. I just feel like Gonzaga might be a spot for them to finally look like Gonzaga. I liked Gonzaga first half here. I hate being on the other side of you, especially on a card I don't have a lot of action. That's why Jimmy, Saturdays and Tuesdays are the days, man. If you get back with Low Shack on Tuesdays and you want to do this, I love me some big marquee matchups on Super Tuesdays.
Yeah, no, I hear you, buddy. No, I love it. We'll go hot here. There's nothing. Billy Friedrich says he thinks the Zags win this one going away. It's just that these games mean so much to the other teams in the conference, and then Gonzaga takes these teams' best punch. And then they end up winning the game.
It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And they're 0-4 covering the spread on the road, 4-11 covering the spread on the season. It makes no fucking sense for me to think Gonzaga first half is a good bet, but deep down in my gut, I just want it. I don't know why. This BYU team, I don't feel like is going to be able to stop Gonzaga at all. And that's why I feel that.
It's legit. And the San Francisco Dons, that was such an easy first half catch. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm just sitting here going, well, it just keeps working. Why would I stop? And maybe that's not the best way of handling it. But 76% tickets, 94% cash on Gonzaga. And, the market is, let's see what this is. Let's see what they offer us here. Because now if you want.
You know what? For good vibes for the show, you take it. I'll stay off. I might still bet it and I might still post it. But let's just not go against each other for good vibes.
I don't, we don't need to worry about that stuff. I don't worry about it.
Okay, cool.
Don't ever think it's part of the fun of capping is that don't just sit here and we're not just yes men,
Right.
So don't have any concern here. It's interesting though. Since 12:20, so in the last hour and 5 minutes, there's been 8 cents of juice added to the plus 6.5 on BYU. But let's get you the best first half line available here. The best first half line available. Sorry, let me move over here to first halves. 2 games left on our card. Don't forget, Cappers Contest show, the award show in 31 minutes at 2 p.m. Let's go here. So the Zags you can get a -3 at -107. Gonzaga for Cab. Gonzaga first half.
Because tell me if that number somehow drops to 2.5, that it's not a hammer spot. Like, you can't convince me,
Well, it's the Pinnacle is giving you the best line on that. And that's one of Loshak's red flags is when Pinnacle gives the best line on the situation. Shit. So I think that if you saw that at 2.5, that I would, for me personally, I would get nervous. I always want the line for me to get the best line and to get worse as the day goes on.
So, and I guess that makes sense with the market, but a lot of sometimes what I'm doing with college basketball, and again, I hate to go back to the record, but like my record on the season is outstanding for me right now. It's been great. I'm happy with it, just not on the show. And one of the things I look for is like, if you break it down to the bare minimums, BYU versus Gonzaga, 1/2 of basketball, who's the better team? Gonzaga. I think they'd be up by at least 3 points. And it's just that's not how I make my bet, but like when you really look at it, sometimes it's like I can't help but to break it down to the basics, like to that basic. And that's like that's the eye scouting part of it in me, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and it's interesting because I'm on the road in college basketball. I think I need 60 or of course 40 or whatever. I need the full game. I don't want first half on the road because especially when you're talking about a ranked team going into a school that wants the win so badly. Well, I think they'll get the win over 40. But will they get it over 20? I'm not so sure about. So I think opposite with college basketball. But I hear what you're saying, and this is all we're all here for the same reason. We're trying to be better and improve on everything that we're doing.
Learn.
So this is all good. It's all good to talk about. It's always good. It's not bad to be on the other side.
I'm learning so much. This is the first chance that I've had. I listened to you, Jimmy. I've listened to you since I ever got on camera. But this is the first chance that the games that I've also deeply capped, I've got to hear the money that you're talking about. And I'm telling you, man, like my brain is just racing with things that I didn't take into account the way that I'm starting to hear them. I heard the money and I understood what it meant, but now I'm really starting to see it reflected in these games since I'm actually having the opportunity to do this more and more with you, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. This is what it's all about. I mean, when I think of like where I was when I started with Pete and where I'm now, I'm so embarrassed that I was doing it publicly back then because I was so ignorant. I had so much to learn.
Well, I hope everyone knows that I've at least admit, like, I hate losing. I'm a winner. I'll find a way to fucking win, but I have so much to learn when it comes to this. I have so much to learn, and I still know that.
Well, that's why we're here. We got 2 games left on the slate, both in the Pac-12 and both DGen specials for late night action. 11 p.m. Eastern, Utah Utes, a team that's been very good to me this year. 12-5, 5-1 in the Pac-12 at the number 7th ranked UCLA Bruins, 14-2, 5-0 in conference. We're at Pauley Pavilion in Los Angeles, California. Right when Jay Peasy jumps in, we have LA basketball. Let's start with the line history here for this one. UCLA opening up at -12 at -108. There's been no movement. Total wise opened up at 134, got up to 137, now sitting at 136. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. 1,520 tickets in, 49% of the tickets, 76% of the cash is on Utah. We don't have any help with the total. Let's take a look here. Utah had a 3-game winning streak snapped in a 70-60 loss at home to Oregon State on Saturday's 4.5-point favorites. I like that. I love a slap in the face before you test yourself against the best in your conference. UCLA comes off its 11th straight win. They haven't played since a week ago, that USC game that we were talking about. 60-58 at home over USC last Thursday's 11-point favorites. I want the Utes. I'm not sure the best way of handling this, whether it should be first half or full game. I have to figure that out. Take it away, Cab. Floor is yours. Utah Utes, UCLA Bruins.
Okay. And I'm trying to think about this too, because to help because I'm not on this. I want to think to help maybe tailor it towards your first or full game. You're right. Utah lost to Oregon. Everybody knows I don't like Oregon. I'm not a fan of that Oregon team. But Utah this year, they've been a good team. 73 points per game, 45.9% shooting, 34.6 from deep. UCLA on the other side, 77.8 points per game, 48% shooting, which is great. From deep, they've been outstanding, 37%. Utah does play good defense, though. Utah closes out well on the perimeter. What my question to you is, how do you think UCLA feels? Do you feel like they're happy with that win and they just got by, or do you feel like they embarrassed themselves against a rival? Like, how are they going to respond to barely beat into that second half of basketball that was just fucking atrocious because they were destroying USC in the first half of that game? If you had UCLA first half, you cashed beautifully, you turned the TV off, and then got alert on your phone and said, holy shit, what? This is a 2-point game right now? I mean, so how are they going to respond to that last half of basketball is the first thing that I would think. It's hard for me not to lean the points here with Utah. It's hard, but UCLA is just one of those teams that they scare me a bit. I'm not going to lie. They have the ability to beat the shit out of anyone on any given day. It's just, are they going to?
I think that it created a really fast-paced practice But the fact that we're a week away from it now, that I don't know if it,
True.
and also this is a team that's, winning comfortably, winning easily. I just, I'm sure they're not happy that they let USC back in the game, but, and I'm sure that their practices were more intense because of it. But that's about it. I think Utah cares so much more about this game than UCLA. And
True.
If what we saw, and so it looks like stupid, the Heat bet and the under bet I won't be able to make because Giannis is out of the lineup. I hope anybody watching our breakdown of that game moved on it while we did it, and it's going to be richly rewarded because of it. But back here with Utah, UCLA, UCLA, if they are angry about it, we'll see that in the first half. Will they? Then they probably won't take their gas off, or their foot off the gas pedal in the second half. JP says Washington State almost beat UCLA. Look, I was on Washington State, but that was in Washington State. And we kept that game down. We kept that game here together. I cashed I even said, I was like, maybe I should take this money line instead of taking the points that I got the first half, and they covered the money line. But and look at their Mike M pimp slap play today is on Buffalo Sabres.
Can I throw this out there? Because I know that this isn't something that we can have official, but this is why we do these shows, guys. And this is why, if we ever add any more live shows, it's fine. Shout out to my guy Big Show, and I also shot it to Dutch. The other night, Arizona was losing and Gonzaga was losing bad, both of them. And I texted them. I said, guys, this is money right here. This is a money-making opportunity. Go ahead and take it. We all cashed on it. These big spreads like this on games like this that are conference games, if you have a team like UCLA that's, falling behind deep early, go live bet that shit. This is a conference game. They're going to wake the fuck up and try and find a way. Like you said, some of these teams hit the cruise control button until they got to win the game. And there is opportunity to bet these college basketball games because they swing so much. And when one of these big underdogs has a swing and they're up by 10, 12 points, if you think that other team still doesn't have a chance to win, you're crazy, because they definitely do and probably will.
Well, we saw it last night. Duke and Texas both down 15 points in the first half, and both
exactly
won. Duke won comfortably, but Texas still won. I'm going to move on the Utes here. I'm going to move on them full game. I think they can keep this within 12. I think the line's not moving for a reason. Let's talk about the final spot on the board. Again, I need a little bit of time to make some bets here. There's 22 minutes before the Cappers contest. Final game on the board here, 11 p.m. Eastern. Number 9th ranked Arizona Wildcats, 14-2, 3-2 in the Pac-12, and Oregon State Beavers, 7-9, 1-4 in the Pac-12. We're in Corvallis, Oregon, Guild Coliseum for this one. We'll start with the line history here. Here we go. Arizona opening up as 15.5-point favorites. Minus 108. They're now still there, but at minus 104. From a total perspective, opened up at 143.5. There's been a slight move to the over. We take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 1,368 tickets in. 36% of the tickets, 63% of the cash is on Oregon State. Oregon State being trusted here. Arizona had their 8-game winning streak snapped in a 74-61 loss at home to Washington State on Saturday. Embarrassing. And they're probably angry. Oregon State comes in off its third straight road loss, 62-42 at Colorado on Saturday, but now they're back home. I wish Arizona hadn't had their winning streak snapped. I'd be on Oregon State for sure. The fact that they did makes me uncomfortable. Take it away here for us, Daby, Arizona, Oregon State.
Yeah, so I think you just said it. The one thing that would keep me off of Oregon State here is the fact that Arizona lost their last basketball game, and a game that they shouldn't have lost. Excuse me. Sorry. Arizona right now, their offense, what do you want to say about them? They're amazing. 117.5 points per 100 possessions. On defense, they've been good. They're the 64th in adjusted defense efficiency. Arizona makes 58.9% of its two-pointers. That's 8th in the nation. They have all those European guys down low that are so good. They're still shooting all right from deep, 34.5%. Not great, but it's good. And when you mix it with the bigs that they got down low, that's why this team can push the court and get the points and hit those open looks that they got. Oregon State right here, they're not a good basketball team. I mean, they're if you want to look at the NCAA net rankings, 223rd. If you care about Ken Palm, 221st. Beavers scored 98.2 points per 100 possessions. That's below average also. That's 271st in the country. They're surrendering 102 points in return on that same stat. So that's 157th, a little bit better there. This team just is a bad basketball team. I don't know what else there is to say. All of their numbers are low anywhere you want to look. 2-pointers, 261st in the nation. On triples, 246th in the nation. On assists, 307th in the nation. What do they do good? Well, they don't do anything good. So if Arizona was in a cruise spot, I get it. 15 and a half points at home in a conference game seems just too easy. But I don't know if they're in a cruise spot after losing that last game. And after losing that last game, with how fast this Arizona fucking team plays, and the Beavers are only putting up, so many points. I don't know. I'd only take Arizona. I'm off it. I'm not laying 15 and a half. I hope that Arizona State gets up early so I can live bet Arizona. Oregon State gets up early so I can live bet Arizona. Shit, words are not working.
No, I wish I'd love backing these dogs in the Pac-12 when a team is coasting. And you're right, they're just simply not coasting. But I don't want Arizona at this number. So Johnny Gunn says everyone was saying the same thing about UConn when they took their first loss. They ended up losing again. The loss could still be hanging with Arizona. They could be underestimating the Beavers here.
I mean, and Arizona hasn't been getting close to covering some of the big spreads lately. I mean, that's why I was able to get them on a plus money bet the other night when they were getting their ass beat in a game. They were favored by like 12 or 13 points.
Yeah, no, I get it. Look, if I had a free bet, I would take Oregon State first half. I'm not going to, though. But I get it. All right, let's review all action here in college basketball. I'm on Minnesota full game against Ohio. I'm on Iowa -5.5. Cabby is a double up on USC -2.5 full game. First half -0.5. I am on Oregon and the over at home against Arizona State. I'm doubling up on Southern Utah first half and full game. I'm on BYU first half, going heads up with Daby Cab, who's on Gonzaga first half -3 at -107. I'm on the Utes full game. And that is our action here on Betting with the Bag with Dabra Cadabra. Dabby, excellent work. You've got a big Friday nighter with our guy Razor Sharp Picks. If you like college basketball, Michigan State Spartans at Illinois Illini, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. That is tomorrow night with
that's a big game.
And Razor. That's going to be a really fun one.
Hell yeah, it is. It's going to be a really fun one. And I'll have a surprise guest sitting right next to me in the room. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, he'll be sitting right, and you all know him. Every single one of you know him. So it'll be good times.
Oh, that's dope.
Gary Kubiak?
I mean, we could have done that if you would have came.
Oh, Jose. Nice to see him. Nice to see
as long
that.
as I put the weed away and all that, I could probably get him on here sometime, but I just don't know how that would reflect on a coach being on gambling show,
They aren't allowed.
Okay, never mind.
Right now, they are not allowed. I love it. Great stuff, Daby Cab. Let's get that cash. Let's have a nice bounce back day for us here today. Have a great live bet stream tomorrow night. Get that papier. Saturday morning, NCAA Pub Hub. I will be watching as well, and that leads into our NFL Pub Hub. So
you got me. I gotta point it out since we everybody likes the records. We do the best bet at the end of the NCAA Pub Hub right now through 4 episodes, 10-3. So we're running hot, and Saturdays are by far my favorite days to cap college basketball. So come on in there with us, guys.
Oh, I love it. Daby, thank you so much for rolling with us. Dabra Cadabra. Follow him on Twitter at Daby Cab. All right, we are 15 minutes away from our Cappers contest show, and I need to get action in. So let's do a quick review of action here. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is on the Bruins in regulation. I'm on the Kraken first period plus 155. I already bet that. Gogster first period, both teams to score plus 150 in Winnipeg, Buffalo. I'm adding the under 6.5 in Carolina, Columbus. Gogster has Hurricanes in regulation, Avalanche regulation, parlay plus 131. I'm adding the Wings first period. I'm already on them full game. Gogster's on the Wings first period and full game. Gogster's on Predators in regulation at plus 106. I'm off that spot. Lamont Williams, max bet, Tampa Bay solo team total over 3.5. and his max bet parlay is the Lightning money line, Golden Knights money line. I'm adding the Rangers. Gogster has no goal first 9 minutes and stars Rangers. He has first period both teams to score at plus 140 in Vancouver, Tampa. I'm adding the Islanders. Gogster has the Flames in regulation. Avalanche, Blackhawks, no action. My favorite bet of the day is the Senators -1. Gogster has first period both teams to score in Ottawa, Arizona. Florida, Vegas, we've stayed off. Billy Friedrich is on Colorado on the puck line. Columbus plus 1.5 on the puck line. Montreal team total under, and Toronto, Detroit over 6.5. I'm moving on the under 233 in Oklahoma, Philadelphia. I'm off Boston, Brooklyn. I was going to be on Heat in the under, and it sucks. I should have figured all that out before, but now no Giannis, and I can't move on it now. Sucks. I'm on Raptors first half full game, under 235.5 in Dallas, Lakers, and that is NBA. We just went over NCAA basketball. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. Jarek White, Nunya, Banana Boat, Float, Tori, Coker, Viper NB, Mike M, Morocco, Rogers, AOD, DC, Capper, Jalen, Alec, Justin McElvey, Sports Bets. Love you guys. Billy Friedrich, all you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Cheshire Cat, Troy Torrance, Johnny Gunn, Silver Malco, Chris Biggs Martinez. Thank you guys. Damon Forbes. Thank you guys so much for your support. We're going to head over to Cappers contest here in 13 minutes. Just going to get some action in, and then we'll head over there. We're going to celebrate, toast the winners. And I guess, are we going to do, oh, look at that, getting your sauce on.
Getting a beverage on, because I have to talk about the Cappers contest, which I fucked up, and I want to throw myself off a building, but it's okay.
You're going to speak on it.
I am going to speak on it. Yeah. And we're going to add a new feature, and I think I'm going to call it the Jose Bouquet. Are you sure you want to submit button? That might be what it's called. I don't know. Interesting.
That'd be interesting, because I've not spoken on it. I've kept it to myself.
No, I've told people, but we'll talk about it on the Cappers contest show. A $600 mistake by me.
Ooh-wee. Hey, I love you guys. I'm so thankful for this opportunity. I need to make some fucking money, man. I swept the board in NBA, gave it back in college basketball. Not acceptable. Roll that shit, like that shit, smoke it. Get that fucking cash, man. Let's get that fucking cash. Gonna copy and paste that the Nunya's look on Stetson. Thank you guys so much for your support. I also want to do this. I know we're only supposed to toast the winners, but I think we go over every football game too. Jose, what do you think?
Sure. I don't have many opinions. Well, I never do really, but sure.
I think we go over every football game too. All right, roll that shit, like that shit, smoke it, get that fucking money. Jose, can you leche us into the future?
Sure. I'm in a terrific mood, because we're going to talk about my $600 mistake, but everyone is getting paid out as we speak right now. So shout out to you guys. And we're going to have a special guest on the show as well, of course. I do pull out my tricks and surprises out of my sleeves. So we'll catch you guys here in about 10 minutes.